Baby. Hello, one and all. It is Wednesday, my dudes, and welcome to another exciting day of the British Esports Association League of Legends Championship. I'm Josh, better known as Citrus Empire, and I will be your host for today's matches. What a set of games we have got lined up for you today. All four teams have been battling their way through the winter split, and they are definitely hungry to take home a win this week. But before we do get into the action, I just want to let you know what we've got on the cards for December. Coming up on Monday the 7th, we have an interview with Vulpine Esports. On Wednesday the 9th, we've got our Overwatch Championship games. On Friday the 11th, we have the legendary Sacco Snackos returning for some festive food fun. Following that, we've got the lowdown on everything that's happened this championship season coming up on Wednesday the 16th. And in case that wasn't enough content for you, our Christmas gaming quiz is going to be on Friday the 18th. Everything kicks off at 4 p.m. UK time on those dates, so definitely drop by and make sure that you don't miss out on all of the top tier content that we've got planned for you. Speaking of not missing out, if you want to know more about the British Esports Association and what we do, please head on over to our website, britishesports.org, or just search for British Esports on social media. All of the links will be in the chat, available on the VOD when it goes live, so definitely make sure that you're able to keep up to date with everything that we've got planned, just by giving us a like and a follow, really. If you want to play in our next championship season that is coming up, make sure that you check out britishesportschamps.org for all the information you'll need to get your team registered. With all that said, though, we are here for one thing and one thing only today, and that is League of Legends. So, without further ado, I'm joined right now by your casters for the game, Milky Cereal and Temporal. Hi guys, thanks for joining us. So, real quick, based on how these teams have been playing so far, what are we really expecting to see today? Are there any spicy pocket picks, crazy Season 11 builds that we've been seeing? Just talk us through it.
Well,
go on.
I mean, Temporal, he's going to be the master of all the Season 11 pocket picks. But to be honest, from everything that I've seen so far, I think everything that exists on League of Legends right now can be considered a spicy pick. Maybe not Yuumi, but everything else is crazy. So this is going to be my first time casting a game in Season 11. And I'm really excited to see what, the teams are going to pull out, what they think is the right way to play the game in, what is such an unknown period of time in League of Legends.
Absolutely. The next patch has been planned, so is that 1025? Numbers off the top of my head, not the greatest. So a lot of people sort of have an inkling of what was very strong on this last patch, but as always with preseason, there are plenty of things that are hidden away that people sort of discover and keep to themselves. I've had a brief look over player accounts for this game, and everyone's sort of got something they love to hold to. Not too many spoilers just yet. We'll probably have a chat more about that in Champion Select. Don't want to sort of bait anyone out here, but lots of people who love like a couple of champions. It is the best way to play the game till you get to like right to the top level. You've got your favorites. You know how to play them in solo queue. Sort of have fun with it. You develop your own little things. Think about the way the pathways go, and that's important in preseason. Is just trying new things and feeling your way out.
This is true. I mean, at least in my case, it's more about picking absolutely everything and running it down mid at any given opportunity.
It's a fun strategy, but do be mindful of your team.
Yeah, the old Tyler 1 6 tiers strat, I
guess. Oh, you love to see it.
So I take that approach, but I do it down bottom lane because that way you int less times, so you're less likely to get reported, but you still get to do the exact same thing.
Oh, nice. It also helps with bot being a longer lane as well. It's like less time between inting, so it's a smart place.
Genius. But I mean, Temporal, I know you say you don't, you're gonna wait a little bit, but I want that spicy news. I'm not a man who likes to wait. I mean, I've mentioned this, Citrus has mentioned it. We like to run down, we like to get to the nitty-gritty as soon as possible. So can you give us some of that inside information?
All right. Yes. So, I know you're a Leona player, Milky Cereal. You're really into Leona. Sunfire Aegis has had a huge impact on the meta in multiple roles. So that's going to be top, jungle, middle. Jungle, like anything that builds out of Balmy Cinders, is very strong. So Sunfire Aegis, nerfed already on the next patch, has 100 health cut off and 100 gold slapped on top. So that is a big adjustment to see those two things at the same time. Expect to see loads of Sunfire builders in the top lane today. And then Leona-like supports will often choose it over the Iron Solari at the moment, just because the shield doesn't add that much when you can't build other mythic health items and you can't become that oppressive force in the bot lane. There is an item called the Imperial Mandate. This is a new one. This is sort of a bring back to the Banner of Command sort of style of play. The icon looks a bit like it as well. And it's that you have to play around your team or play with your friends to make this work. Mandate slaps a mark on every single damaging ability of yours, or immobilizing ability rather, and add 60 damage at level 1. I think it's 210 damage at level 18. Your opponent, your cooldown on each champion is 0. So Maokai Sapling with Mandate in support is out of control. Has already been slated for a nerf. And then if your teammate procs it, the idea being the teammate's meant to proc it, applies a 6-second cooldown to that user, doubles the damage. So things that apply immediately, like maybe a Nami on an auto attack with Hurry, immediate burst of damage.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Imperial Mandate, but of course you do need to have those allies around. It is an AP item, if I'm not mistaken, so maybe we could even be seeing a bit of Swain support coming up through the order.
I'm not so sure about Swain support, to be honest. I think you're still going to be dreaming for a few years, Milky.
A few years, that's a while away, I think. I mean, Citrus though, you know, Temporal, he's given away the inside information on my champions and what I like. When you look at League, are there any champions that you think, yeah, I want to be playing that?
Honestly, Kai'Sa I found a really good spot. Kai'Sa with Kraken Slayer, you've got your Uranus Hurricane, and then Navori Quickblades. That item is disgusting at the moment. It's adding crit, it's just spell spam. It's everything is good about that item. So I'm excited to see more Kai'Sa coming in, especially at more organized levels of play. Just because of how much value she adds, like how terrifying an assassin ADC can be in a meta that's kind of built around assassins at the moment, or tanks, depending on on how unfortunate your draft goes, really.
There's always the struggle. Kaiser's definitely found her place. Another one of these AD carries that can choose between Rageblade for increased immediate damage or going with the Navori for greater uptime. So it's definitely the case on AD carries where they have an uptime ability. This is most prevalent on Cogmore, like Cogmore mode on W, like add all that range, add all that damage. Having that at 100% uptime based on one Navori crit early into the cooldown as it reduces current cooldown remaining is so incredibly impactful to have. It does mean you can't build the Rageblade at the same time. It just turns off Navori. But having that there is always a good feeling.
Well, you mentioned that, Temple. One of the first games I played in preseason was against the Cogmore Lulu, and I was playing something really oppressive. It was something like Leona and probably Leona Caitlyn or something like that. And the Cogmore Lulu, it was disgusting. He'd throw out, one like spit, and I swear half my HP as a Leona was gone, and it made no sense to me. And I expected to see a lot of Cogmore coming through as a result in previous British Esports Association matches, but we haven't seen it come through yet. Also expected to see the Assassins coming through. Haven't really seen that either, and we always have to ask this question whenever we talk about amateur, and it doesn't matter if this is, it could be amateur bronze, amateur iron, or it could be amateur, master. You have to find the balance between what is strong in the meta and what you can execute well and easily, depending on how much time you have as a team to practice. So, Temporal, my question for you is, what do you think is that right balance? What do you think is, okay, this is the god tier meta build, meta composition that you want to go? And what are the sacrifices that you have to make to turn that into something that's digestible and something that's easy to work with?
So when it comes to execution, if something you previously executed is no longer in the game, you either have to adapt or drop it. And then in the time you've got, build up to something new. We don't expect to see like fantastic, well thought out strategies, but it has to be something you've done before. You can readily adapt to any questions your opponent asks of your team composition in draft or on the Rift. And make sure you are asking your opponents a reasonable number so that your own comp actually has a win condition, actually has a way forwards to play the game. As long as you find all of those things within the space of a game, you're playing League of Legends reasonably successfully.
Playing League of Legends reasonably successfully may not be enough.
I've seen you play solo queue. Like,
Ooh.
you've got to like.
Do you want to open up this can of worms, Temporal? Do you want to open it right here, right now?
Let's get the OP.GGs, boys. Let's go. Let's see those win
Get the
rates.
OP.GGs. Temporal, we went solo queue, right? Temporal goes in top lane. I go in support. You know, I think, I've got Temporal. He's good. He's in the top lane. I'll just play nice and safe. And then next thing I know, Temporal's like 0-5 or something. And
I don't remember.
You know how you have like end of year yearbooks in schools and you can like put down a quote for people? The most appropriate quote one can ever give Temporal is Temporal finds a way to win every game in the most stressful way imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
Backdoors from worlds between I think it was the Invictus Gaming backdoor. That doesn't hold a candle to how stressful solo queue with Temporal in 45-minute long games can be.
No comment.
He's like an XPK backdoor all moments of the game. From the moment you lock into champ select, like...
And
speaking... ADC, what?
And you mentioned speaking of walking into games. We are now walking into a champ select. Temporal, we've had a little bit of a discussion over what can be coming through in the drop. We are now here. I want to hear some champion names. I don't want you to sit on the fence anymore. I want those names. I want those playstyles. Assassin, tanks. What are we expecting to see?
Sure thing. Jin's gone. This AD carry benefited a lot from lethality. The new collector item is the first in the history of the game to have not been immediately removed that contains crit and lethality on a single item. This item has pushed Jin and a number of caster AD carries straight through the roof. Graves, you are an AD carry. You can't escape that bot lane, included. So that removed away here on one. Fiora away from Hiyori. Fiora's not done too well with the changes, but her win rate is increasing steadily as one tricks and people who are very passionate about playing Fiora keep playing, get better at that Sundra build, which has a high ceiling. Have a go at the Prowler stuff, have a go at the Stride Breaker, and sort of find what they want in different matchups to a greater degree, get used to it. The ceiling on Fiora went way up, so she will eventually dominate those tank matchups once again, but it's going to take a little while. So maybe Mina Zaki-sana has been playing that here. That's a mouthful. Nunu banned away. Also a champion that's done relatively well in the preseason. Struggled on the first few days as his sort of role of power clearing the jungle has been dissolved amongst everyone. Everyone goes through the jungle quicker, healthier, and a bit easier. Nunu now comes apart as when everyone goes through quicker, Nunu can take that away from you again, which is a bit of a problem. Builds Barmy Cinder. Oh, that's a good item. Builds into Sunfire, Chem Tank, whatever you want. Kayn taken away as well. Kayn, another one of these lethality building champions, has done so well out of the preseason. He changes to mythic items, Dustblade, Eclipse, Gore Drinker, particularly effective on Kayn at becoming an unkillable healing machine that dishes out tons of damage. And Lemon Curd has played a lot of Kayn so far this season. Oh, sorry. Big Boy Jones has played a lot so far this season. I've got it the wrong way around. So taken away. And it looks like the last ban here missed.
Well, they haven't quite hit the mark with that final ban, and it will mean there's one extra champion in the pool of 70 champions and now that are available to AGSB. And it's a Yasuo logged in.
Okay. The Yasuo blue one pickup throwing the gauntlet down here, saying 1v1 me in the mid and or top lane, maybe even the bottom lane. I haven't checked if Vilfire plays this one. Yasuo has done reasonably well out of preseason. The new Rage Blade really does suit these on-hit assassins. Yasuo and Yone doing fantastically out of that one. Just by finishing the item and picking up a crit cloak, you're dealing a ridiculous amount of bonus damage on each auto. And of course, you're resetting them with your abilities that also apply on-hit damage. Now, lots to be gained from those items for these two champions on R1 and 2, a bot lane.
Yeah, the Nautilus and the Tristana picked up, but I do like the idea of taking Nautilus away from the Yasuo so they don't have that knock-up combo. Tristana can follow in so well, but now the Gragas, Yasuo Gragas, her Cask, Dash, that slicey. That's a lot of damage.
It is a lot of damage. Gragas has really struggled in the preseason. He's had his tank niche taken away from him, where he was like a great utility tank. He's had his full AP niche sort of removed away. Talia does that job better at the moment. Evelyn also doing fantastic on this patch. The Night Harvester, really her best friend. However, Gragas will always occupy this niche with Yasuo, where he is multiple knockups on demand, either with flash or with a long-range skill shot. That is quite a fantastic setup for this Yasuo, and we're going to look to enable him. The Braum here keeping things sort of ambiguous. That can still be a Yasuo in the bot lane if Vilfire feels really good about it. Otherwise, they can adapt to some solo lanes.
And it's a really nice team fighting composition that is coming through from AGSB that works off, this pick potential courtesy of the Gragas. And now the Kha'Zix is locked in. You talked about those lethality junglers like the Kayn, and then you mentioned even the Evelyn doing quite well as well. But the Kha'Zix locked in. How crucial do you think this Kha'Zix is going to be able to get into the backline? Well, at the moment, one-shotting this Yasuo.
At the moment, if the one-shotting this Yasuo becomes the scenario, Kha'Zix is going to have a fantastic time. The new mythic version of Duskblade of Drakthar suits this champion to a T. Evolving R at level 6 means you get something like 6 uses if you kill 2 people in a team fight, which you would be expecting to do if you already have 4 uses and a Duskblade of Drakthar completed. With Dark Harvest as well, the item has fantastic synergy, adds some extra slows, and it's everything Kha'Zix needs.
Yeah. Everything that Kha'Zix needs indeed. And he'll be hoping that there aren't any nasty stopwatches or anything like that that will be coming through from AGSB. Now, Temporal, you talked a little bit about how Gragas's niche has been taken away and the fact that he can't really build full AP. So my question now becomes, do AGSB need another AP source of damage?
I think at this stage, a control mage for them would be pretty fantastic, but it looks like they're running this Yasuo in the mid lane. College Llandrillo have banned 1 top laner and 1 marksman, so not convinced that this Yasuo is going anywhere else but mid lane. I'd like to, yeah, we'll see. Their flexibility is holding for now. Mordekaiser on R4 is a pretty safe solo laner, picking up some more buffs. Not sure if he truly needs them, to be honest. And becomes another great healing 1v1 champion who then has that fantastic objective control. Just able to remove any one player from the map. The B4 and 5 here will inform us where this Yasuo is going, give us a bit of a better picture.
And with the Xayah looking to be locked in, it does mean that this Yasuo will be in the mid lane. Kai'Sa locked in, and I know Citrus is going to be very excited to see this one come through. But crucially, red side, they have that mid pick available and they have the counter pick, regardless of whether this Yasuo goes mid lane or into the top lane.
R5 will be maintained just a little longer. So Kai'Sa does reasonably well on this patch. I think it's a bit of a risk to take it into a Tristana, Kha'Zix, and Mordekaiser. So Kai'Sa still does exactly what she does fantastically.
No.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
No.
Let's go.
I don't believe this. We've got a Teemo, ladies and gentlemen. Now,
yes.
Team Poral. You see what I did? There? Right. Temporal.
I am not denying. I'm not denying that I went to D4 on a Teemo only support run. Inspired by a friend who did the same thing. Victor on 5. Fantastic. Okay, right. Let's run this down very quickly.
Okay.
The Teemo, pretty good matchup into the Mordekaiser. Very frustrating. Mordekaiser can definitely overcome this in the 1v1. Takes a while to get there. Very frustrating. Maybe demands a jungler intervention. You're starting to set conditions on College Llandrillo here by picking this up for AGSB. Looks... No, that Braum's got to go bot. We're going to have some more swaps. I was going to have a moment there. Teemo support would be too exciting for me. Victor has had
a solo lane top.
It's just like Halo Blades Braum, just to proc his passive as fast as possible. Yes, so the Victor has had a fantastic preseason, had to be hot fixed. He was that strong. Some balance changes came through to his Hextech core, which means he no longer has to pick up gold, but he has to continue farming minions. So goodbye, Victor support.
Okay.
Now,
I was just going to say, while we have one Teemo fan in the form of a Teemo Poral, we also have a second Teemo fan in the form of Satimo, who will be joining us as our analyst. And Sati, I think you know exactly where I'm starting you off here. What do you think of this team pick?
I'm loving it. It's great fun. This season, we're playing preseason at the moment. Timo, great fun. As you said, it's a good matchup into the Mordekaiser, so that top lane will be really fun. So looking forward to it.
All right. I do want to highlight the bottom lane here as well. For College Llandrillo, the Tristana Nautilus, really good just in a vacuum, asks a lot of questions of your opponent, scales equally with the Kaiser, but then reaches a much higher, much easier to execute ceiling throughout the game.
Yeah, in the laning phase, I'm expecting this Kaiser Braum to be actually able to match the Tristana Nautilus. We expect Kaiser to go towards the Halo Blades in this lane, and she'll be able to. She has really great synergy with the concussive blows of Braum, and I expect them to go toe to toe in that lane. I think it'll be explosive, and with the team of Mordekaiser matchup, I expect them to play down there towards that bot lane.
Okay, so they'll be avoiding that one in top. Okay,
And
yeah.
When you do look over to the side of AGSB, they have a lot of synergy. You mentioned the Kaiser Braum. It's one of the best synergies that you can get for that Kaiser and the Braum. They love to be together. Then you've got the Gragas and the Yasuo as well to come through. So AGSB, how is this synergy looking when you compare it to Llandrillo's composition?
I think comparing it to the opposite team, it's two AP solo laners for Llandrillo, to the AP jungle of AGSB. But yeah, as you said, like the synergy for the blue team here is really important. Their mid jungle 2v2, as well as like the team fight later on into the mid game and into late game will be really important. And I expect them to go toe to toe. I think there'll be a really good team fighting game.
I think whoever gets whoever first, so either Victor picking off either of those 2v2 components or them reaching Victor first will be a pretty big question throughout this game.
Yeah, the long range engage from the Gragas, like that cask is quite long range, and you're basically just chucking your Yasuo straight onto him. So if they're able to do that, whether it's the Tristana or the Victor's probably more high priority because he scales so well. Is a really good tool for the blue team.
Yeah, absolutely. Disrupting that control range, opening up a lot of options, as it will leave the Tristana as the only wave clear here for College Llandrillo. It's definitely an option during the mid game. Suddy, what do you think about objective priority in the early game? There's a little twist here I see coming.
Yeah, I mean the Kha'Zix, he can go toe to toe with the Gragas, but I expect the Yasuo to be able to get early mid priority in this lane. I can't see yet, but it'd be interesting to see if he goes ignite or exhaust. Maybe the Victor going towards the TP, so that the combat summoner in that lane will be really important. And if they're able to unlock this Yasuo and go towards the side lanes and then get a tower priority or dragon priority and snowball the game, it'll be a really good tool for them.
Absolutely. There is a window where Kha'Zix can simply invade Gragas' jungle after his first clear on first reset path. If he takes Gragas to half, that's going to be hard to get anything out of a contest onto a solo dragon. It does rely on both of the lanes managing to hold priority. So it's going to be an interesting question to see if we see that option come through.
And I just want to ask a quick question as well. Again, I'm still looking towards this Teemo because the way I remember Teemo from last season and seeing it in solo queue is this menace that's on the side lane. And then when it leaves the side lane, it doesn't matter. There are shrooms dotted all over the place. You've got a Rabadons and a Liandry's back in the good old days of Season 10. Is that going to be the case for the Teemo on AGSB?
Nearly certainly. Leandry's game, the item has fantastic application at the moment. Does a whole boatload of damage. And can't be too many changes. I think Night Harvester has some applications. Or we might be seeing AD Teemo, which is something we've seen once or twice throughout the preseason. Not a huge fan myself, but will be pretty interesting. The most interesting item choice will be mandate Victor or to not.
And
yeah, really interesting. I mean, myself, I haven't seen very much Teemo at all. So this, I think this Teemo Mordekaiser matchup will be really interesting because that's probably the one I know the least about. But I do think it's important. You spoke about the Kazakhs. We were expecting the Gragas to play towards his bot lane. So if the Kazakhs is able to split map and play towards his Mordekaiser and kind of ruin the lane that we thought the Teemo would be able to have a fun day into, that could be a really good opening into the game for Llandrillo.
Absolutely. Should be pathing up their top side as well, as he'll start with his solo camps on the east side of the jungle and then path up towards top lane after Crab. So that would be optimal.
And that new Gromp is really lovely. I don't play much jungle, but the Gromp getting the health and mana back is just poor. I'm sure that feels great as a jungler.
I do love a third of my health for free. It's a great time.
Yeah. Great fun.
You guys talked about the long range engage from the Gragas, and when you do look over to the side of the Dragons, they've got the Dredge line, they've got the depth charge from the Nautilus, they've got added tools of engage with the Death's Grasp, but from the Mordekaiser. I feel that Dragons have a lot of different ways to engage, but when I look over to the side of AGSB, once that explosive cask is down, I struggle to see a what's the term I'm looking for? A consistent form of engage for them. And Sati, starting with you, is that something that you think could be a big flaw for AGSB's comp?
It could be. I think the way to get around that is that they'll have to try and get the mid priority first if they're contesting for Baron or Dragon and be on the objective first, because that can kind of act as your engage. If you've blown that Gragas hole and it hasn't quite worked out, you need to start the objective first and force them to come to you. But yeah, it's a really great point. We'll see if Lemon Curd's aim is on point today, and if he can get some good ults. But if not, they're gonna have to play a good map game. As you said, there's very little engage out of that Gragasar.
So after the Gragasar is expended, you're correct. They will sort of fall away into more vulnerable options. We're looking at Flash Body Slam, Glacial Fissure, all of these things easily moved around or not quite so consistent as a like on point explosive cask. It is going to be interesting to see who reaches objectives first. As you're correct, both of these teams hold better than they contest. So getting onto those objectives at the right time, finding a priority, and syncing up your waves with your jungler is definitely going to be the name of the game for the first 15.
And one of the final questions that I do want to bring up before we get into game is Sati and Temporal. I kind of want you both to let myself primarily and then our viewers, of course, as well know, what do you think is going to be that one key aspect for both teams to be that winning factor? Is it going to be this Kazakh's ability to get onto the back line and find damage? Will it be, this Gragas being able to find the engage? What is the win conditions for both teams?
I mean, I'll start. And for me, the Yasuo is such a high skill champion. So if Yasuo in the mid lane is able to just completely pop off, show their skills, they could be a really defining factor in this game because it is such a hard champion, and if they're able to pull it off, it'll be brilliant. So Yasuo in the mid lane, that's what I'm looking towards.
I think the Yasuo is going to be a huge condition. I personally think whichever one of these marksmen gets ahead is likely going to go uncontested. Some of the things that get you in or out of problems here, it's going to be Tristana reaching 2 items, it's going to be Kaiser reaching Q Evolve and QSS as rapidly as possible, are going to escape so many conditions that I think it's going to be on these players to carry the game through. That said, Teemo could just take over, so we'll see.
Let's hope not.
So the TLDR Sati thinks that the Yasuo is going to be the key point for AGSB, and Temporal is going more with the whole bottom lane. Whichever bottom side can come out ahead will take the game. So Temporal, are you then thinking that this is just going to be a lot of jungle focus towards that bottom lane?
I think the Gragas definitely has to try, but whether he's successful depends on a large number of factors. I think whichever, so the path at the moment is definitely spin top lane in your top laner's favor, and then never go back unless the balance is adjusted. Play through the objectives on your bot side. I think finding as many small advantages as possible to make that happen in this game definitely matters, as the junglers want to be free to choose.
Yeah. And Sati, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be seeing you at the end of the game for some post-game analysis. But with that said and done, we are into a game now, Temporal, and it doesn't look like Llandrillo will be looking to start at that red buff.
Indeed, they will. Got to push that Kha'Zix up into the top side on the first rotation, get him a shot at the Teemo in the early levels, and that character is vulnerable to a bit of disruption. And definitely get him on a good first reset. And then after that first reset, can look to either contest Gragas or set up for the dragon.
Well, that first Drake will presumably be fairly important. We know it was so important in Season 10. And we expect that to be the case here for Season 11 as well. Red buff or bottom side start for both junglers. So that might be suggesting that those first ganks will be towards the top side of the map.
Absolutely. Vision obtained for the Red Sea team in the top side, so they will know that Lemon Curd started on the bottom side of the map here. Gragas can start on the chickens or on the red buff, so it looks like they will know within about 10 seconds where the Gragas is going to be. Conversely, I think you just assume for the Kha'Zix, he's definitely starting on the bottom side. But other than that, we've got a minute or two to wait until things really pop off.
Yeah. Especially in that bottom lane as well, with that Nautilus, one of the strongest level 1s in the game. And when he's level 2, that does not change at all. But that being said, it is Vilfire and Ninja who currently have reached level 2 first.
So they've managed to grab it, but it looks like not much ability to contest on the wave. You've sort of got to be in position when you grab that level 2 to make the most of it. Big Boy Jones in the stops. Oh.
Well, the dredge line doesn't quite connect. The concussive blows will only reach 3 stacks. As in the mid lane, a flash out of the body slam, beautifully done by C Neutral Zerg, and it will be enough to keep the victor alive.
You'll stay alive at this stage, but losing your summoner this early, it's not the optimal way. It takes a bit more of a trade. Yeah, against the Yasuo. So, okay, we'll be a bit vulnerable now. Even after Gragas gets level 6, we should be looking to see AGSB return to this mid lane in just a few minutes.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want to see AGSB do. With this flash down, abuse the fact that Victor no longer has this, get out of jail free card.
Right.
And also currently great as well, seeing this amount of bullying coming through from the Teemo on the top side of the map, just not letting Big Boy, as that's going to be a dredge line through on the bottom side of the map. The Unbreakable, just by so much time, Death's Grasp comes through, but Big Boy, he just gets punished. He cannot trade against the Teemo right now.
No, he's got to wait a little longer. He's got to grab himself some magic resist and try and survive in this lane. Eventually, the all-ins will go his way. Dredge line.
And there's going to be the rocket jump. The instant exhaust could be a huge. The concussive blows get stacked. Is there an ignite? No, there isn't. The heal comes through and keeps a rat nice and healthy. A fairly even trade, as that's going to be a tornado connecting, but no last breath to follow up just yet.
Not just yet, although the threat is definitely there. Yasuo goes forwards. We're going to go to the top lane. Big Boy Jones.
Ooh. And I think that might have been smart because 2 more autos might have just been enough to take down Big Boy. So that's a second flasher down for the side of Llandrillo. But Kha'Zix showing up. That's going to be the win. War the tornado. Does Amina have enough damage? He needs a couple more autos. Now he's on the run. Can he turn this around? Flash it forward. And Taste the Fear picks up first blood for Llandrillo.
Can't argue with picking up first blood on Kha'Zix. A fantastic punish. Minazaki does hold his flash for the level 6. I did wonder maybe he could have flashed out of there in a little bit over the wall, but hey ho, not to be today, as C Neutral Zerg wouldn't be able to follow. Reasonable work from Big Boy Jones in the top lane. You're right, definitely the correct choice to flash at this stage. If he doesn't, flash ignite from Gonmol can't be reacted to, so you sort of have to guess where it's coming through in the timing. And I think Jones definitely opting into the difficult path here. He's picking up some ability power, so that all-in will be on its way. But
is it enough? Oh, flash! And that is so much damage. The kill comes through. It makes it a 1-for-1 temporal. You saw that coming from a mile away.
I didn't know if he was going to commit, but Lemon Curd decides to say, actually, I don't need my flash. We're just going to send C Neutral Zerg back to base. Waits so that Minazaki Sana can push the wave in and deny that extra bit of CS. Victor, without his teleport, suffering in the mid lane, will lose a little bit more CS.
And I'd also like to know your thoughts on this trading in the top side, because Big Boy, he's got the Conqueror, so surely you'd think that he wants to take these extended fights. You know, when he gets that Indestructible up, enough to buy time so that those Conqueror stacks can come in and he can start healing up a little bit more and dealing damage, or do you think what he's currently doing, which is just run away from the Teemo, is the right strategy right now?
There's a nice smooth curve. If you imagine we start with sort of like a tug of war. Teemo holds all the rope at the start. And Mordekaiser slowly pulls a bit back, and then Teemo just yanks it all back off of him. You've got to find these like medium fights where Mordekaiser uses his full rotation and then stops taking damage immediately, because you can't stack up that Conqueror without Teemo getting multiple blinds off. Hello. Little bit of aggressive posturing here in the mid lane is just giving me some nerves.
No flash on the Victor. Body slam into the last breath. That's the kill. The Chaos Storm will be released, but it causes no chaos at all. A second kill for AGSB.
All right, fantastic work playing this Yasuo Gragas. This is what they've got to do. As soon as Yasuo hits 6, you gank. As soon as Gragas hits 6, you do it again. And Lemon Curd does pick up his explosive cask off of that gank. We'll be looking to repeat it again and again without the teleport. See Neutral Zerg starting to fall behind a significant gold lead in this mid lane. Spells trouble for him in the next few minutes.
Okay, now the first trick of the game is that we are 7.5 minutes in, so it has been around for 2.5 minutes, and it looks like it might just get started, as that's the Death Realm on the top side of the map. Has the Mordekaiser found this beautiful moment? He's going to step on the Notch's trap, and there it comes through. Will it be enough? Surely one more auto. There it is. Poison Dart. Gunwall picks up the kill on the bottom side. That's the Kazakhstan. No jungler for Llandrillo. 2 kills for nothing, and that's an Ocean Drake ready to be secured by AGSB.
Unfortunate that both sides of the map go a bit pear-shaped so quickly, but good work to get onto the dragon in good time. Definitely does benefit AGSB's team composition to get as many dragons as possible, and make sure that the double mountains can come through, which would make their opponents really strong against the Kaiser and Teemo. Sort of these dots, these continually applying small damage numbers, really do struggle against those resistances. We saw Big Boy Jones nearly win the all-in, but unfortunately, Gonmol's Summoner Spell advantage spells a little too much. It is always a great thing for the Mordekaiser. When he all-ins the Teemo and Death Realms, all of the shrooms are missing from the Death Realm. They don't transfer across. So you sort of get a couple of moments of being able to run at Teemo, and the only traps you have to deal with are the ones in his hands instead of the ones already on the floor. Unfortunately, the double-edged sword here is if you come back out of the Death Realm, you might already be standing on one.
You might very well be, and that was indeed the case for Gunmol, or I should say for Big Boy Jones, and he wasn't such a big boy in the face of a Teemo's deadly shrooms. 4 kills to 1. Now, at the start of the game, we talked about win conditions. Sati was saying that he thought that bottom side would be the win condition. Then probably you were leaning more towards whether this, Sati said it would be about whether this Yasuo could pick up or not. And you said it would be more about the bottom side. Well, none of them have picked up any kills yet.
Yes, this has not quite happened. So we'll see. We'll see which matters most in the end. As Tristana and Kaiser are probably both late game insurance policies. We'll definitely see them come to fruition some way in this game. But Gragas sort of determining the tempo in both solo lanes for sure right now.
Oh, here we go. The tornado connects. No follow-up. You know, Lemon Good wants to go. There he goes. The explosive cast into the last breath. A flash forward. The auto exhaust does nothing. 5 kills now for AGSB. And on the top side, Gunmore looking to run it down a Big Boy who uses the Death Grasp to pull the team out towards it, but then says, you know what? I'm going to walk away.
Yeah, we're just going to chill out on the top side. So the false sense of security for Sea Neutrals going as far to influence Milky Cereal there. And just a little worrying for a second. But yeah, once Lemon Curd had sort of realized that is not warded up at the back over the Wraith wall, just comes straight over, and Sea Neutral Zerg baited out from under his tower by Minzoki, just taking a moment in the lane, just giving him some space, and will set up perfectly into a last breath execution. Oh man, that is so rough here for this Victor. He's going to be struggling to come back in the next few minutes. We'll get there eventually, and most importantly, if he has opted for the mandate mythic item here, it is quite cheap, so that gold advantage won't matter so much. But in any case, it's going to be a while before he's starting to pull off these big team fight winning ultimates.
And again, I want to go back to this term that you use in picks and bans, long range engage from the Gragas. He now has Hextech Rocket Belt, so he has even longer range. And we have fights in the mid and the bottom lane. Rocket Jumper coming through. The death charge will follow exhaust, and that's going to be a huge ultimate. Lord Bedtime Killer Instinct comes through, and a Vilfire will make it a wonderful one. But Lemon Curd following up, the Rocket Belt that comes through. Look how fast that Gragas go. He might be a little bit fat, but he is not as slow, as that's going to be the Q, the missiles, and another kill for blue side. 2 kills for 1 in the overall fight.
All right, fantastic way to turn that one back around. Maybe a little early flash from Vilfire that could have been sort of held onto, but there's nothing wrong with respecting your opponents there. Yeah, fantastic use of the Rocket Belt by Lemon Curd as well. The new version gives you a haste after you use the active, so best to deal damage as early as possible. Get the most out of the haste, walk up to your opponents when they haven't got as many hastes themselves. Cause a lot of havoc that way. So Lemon Curd really making his mark on all the lanes right now.
And Minadozaki just stealing away some chickens away from Kazakh. He's saying, you're not going to be getting any poultry today. Or you're going to be getting a little bit less than ideal. And I think he left a little present chicken for him as well.
No.
That is a lot. That is too much damage. I know he's fed, but he's now 5-0 temporal.
This is getting out of hand. This oh wow. Okay.
To follow after the rocket jump, but Hiyori taking so much damage. Lemon Curd flashing over the wall, but right into Zerg. Minadozaki finds a kill into the Death Realm. Goes Lemon Curd, and he will fall. It's now a 2v3 situation for AGSB. Can they turn this around? The concussive blows are stacked, but they drop as another Winter's Bite will follow through. Vilfire on the way could potentially look to turn this, as that's another Winter's Bite landing onto Zerg. And now the Drake might be started as well.
Slight overextension. See, neutral Zerg does manage to dodge away from the Void Seeker. So instead will be the safe dragon secured here for Llandrillo College. They get a consolation prize. And this means we're delaying the soul. We're increasing the power on the Tristana. We're giving Victor more chances to farm. The advantage still heavily held here by AGSB, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, perhaps, for Llandrillo if they keep this up.
And look at Rat by Birth, ready to pounce on Vilfire. It's a 3v2 situation. No flash for Hiyori. The rocket jumper comes through. Kazakhs looking to join the fray, but nothing will follow. And I think that previous fight that we saw Temporal, it feels like it was a little bit of over-aggression, a little bit of disrespect from AGSB, that they found those picks and then they stayed.
Yeah, you don't get to recycle those cooldowns, and does mean your next engages are a bit weak. Hiyori,
Glacial Fissure comes through. Depth Charge buys just enough time for Hiyori to stay alive. And that is going to be 1 ultimate traded for 2 ultimates on the side of Llandrillo Dragons.
Can't argue with trading upwards just a little bit. The Braum won't be missing it. A dragon fight not to be contested. It looks like we're not going to have the lane swap up to top lane. We are starting to see some mythic items come through Milky Cyril. So the Prowler's Claw for Lord Bentai on this Kazakhs will increase his sort of 1v1 damage against like bruises, but I'm not really sure who he's trying to pick off with it here. It does mean he will be missing the Duskblade slightly.
And a question that I'd like to bring up for you, Temporal, is that we're seeing that Rat by Birth has gone for the Kraken Slayer, and I was of the opinion that probably the strongest mythic item for ADCs was that Immortal Shieldbearer, because it's Phantom Dancer but stronger, and it just gives so much utility.
That is true, but you nearly certainly have to build it first. Death Realm going a bit wrong here. Big Boy Jones, maybe...
However, Lord Bentai is here, and that Death Realm is just keeping this Teemo in the fray for that little bit longer flash away. Does he have the damage? No, he doesn't. And Lord Bentai makes the Teemo taste its fear.
So a bit of a double lot there. We had you're not. Oh, hello. Never mind. Endless bloodshed. Rabbi Birth goes in. The 1v1.
Damage the heal. The killer instinct into the backline. Rocket jump away, and Nautilus says it's my turn. Broom says, "Hey, let's make this a 2v2. How strong do you feel now? Concussive blows are in. Billfire takes one, and Billfire makes it a double kill."
Kraken Slayer's coming through for both AD carries. The fights get a bit more explosive. Unfortunately, Rabbi Birth taking a bit too much damage up at the start, and Fury getting a bit eager, forgetting that Ningyo Matre is probably in the
He's getting caught out now. Does he have the damage? Oh, the blue smite's almost enough. Explosive. The cast is explosive, and it secures the 12th kill for AGSB.
I want that written on my wall. Explosive cask is explosive from Milky Cereal. I love it. I love it so much.
I'll make one just for you, Temporal.
Oh, Christmas is coming early this year, buddy. Okay. Oh, I think this like chaotic, endless fighting style only like aims to promote AGSB's already significant lead. It won't be the most they could do, but oh, man.
Minadazaki is baiting. There comes the Glacial Fissure, the Tornado. Vilfire takes the kill, takes the gold, and AGSB takes the mid lane outer turret.
Alright, they now have 3 turrets down, so their enemy's jungle do belong to them. And it is just a little bit of a struggle here. Llandrillo are going to have to try and find something, some way to come back in. I think it's going to be probably the next dragon fight. We did mention in Champion Select, we're probably going to have to see them get on the objective first, not let Teemo set up, not let Kaiser, not let Yasuo and Gragas get into a comfortable position. Try and force out and force to error that way. Just try and get them to make a mistake. The Night Harvester does so much damage on those mushrooms.
Some would say a little bit too much damage, but Temporal, can you hear that? There's a sound. That's the sound of me rewinding a little bit. Rewinding all the way back to picks and bans. But we talked about win conditions. Bot lane and Yasuo. Well, currently, the Yasuo is ahead, and the bot lane's ahead for AGSB. It sounds to me like some win conditions are being checked right now.
Oh, yes. So definitely the Kaiser is well and truly online, picking up 6 kills and assists over the last few minutes. A lot of gold going into that pick that needs like time to scale up because of an incredible gold requirement. And oh man, with this top lane pushed in here, this is going to be a real struggle to get onto the dragon for Llandrillo. They're going to either have to sacrifice that inhibitor or throw Big Boy Jones under the bus. Yeah, you mentioned shield though. Let's get our tape deck out, Milky. We're going back. Not quite all the way to the 80s, but we are going to go back. So you mentioned. Oh, never mind.
Well, here comes the collapse on the Teemo on the top side. Getting turned this around. Look at the damage onto Rabbi Birth. Whoa, the poison is enough. It is. It's a 1-for-1 in a 3v1 scenario. How Teemo pull that off? Well, he's just very strong. And while all of Llandrillo are distracted by a certain critter in the top lane, AGSB are distracted by a rather big critter in the Drake pit.
Well, they do get the dragon for free. Thank you, Gonmo. Draws enough pressure in the top side, and that means that for his penance, they will pick up second dragon of the game. So we're looking towards a half-an-hour dragon soul. It will be infernal as well, and with both teams having such significant damage threats, it's going to really be a huge difference. No Sunfire builders either. No huge tanks to soak up all of that damage. So it will be incredibly impactful. Okay, you mentioned shield bow. We're still going back to it because I feel like this is a good educational point to hold on. Shield bow fantastically strong. Its stats are never mind explosive cast. Never mind.
However,
he's gonna walk on, walk off from Lemon Curd. He's just letting Zerg know he's there.
Yeah.
I thought that might be a max range Yasuo ulti, but maybe not today. Maybe not today.
I think the explosive cost didn't quite connect in the way Lemon Curd would have wanted it to.
Wanted him to come back towards him instead of the blaster away. So fast feet, we'll give props to C Neutral Zerg there for dodging away.
It's a little bit... Oh, so sorry. I'm going to let you finish this point because I know you want to.
We're going to get the shield bow out. Okay, shield bow stats, primarily defensive. if you have to shred your opponents at top speed and just do as much as you can as quick as you can, unless you're dying, you don't need the shield bow. It's the same for old Phantom Dancer. If you didn't need it to stay alive, there were better options to increase your DPS.
Okay.
Now, of course, you nearly always needed it to stay alive, but in Season 11, maybe not. Maybe there are other options you want to pursue and go with. Ooh, Smite Away unsuccessful. Lemon Cuddle picked that one up. Feeling it a little. So, if you don't need the shield, which maybe Rat by Birth will if Gragas turns his attention over, and likely he will in the large unit team fights that are going to be coming through soon. Ooh, Smite Away. Lemon. Oh, dear. Guys, you got to get on the same page as each other. You're on the same team, man.
I mean, Lemon Curd already had a blue buff as well. Godmore clearly not happy with that.
Okay,
So that's going to be the death roll.
Through.
Stopwatch will buy time, and Godmore saying, I ain't helping you. You stole my blue buff, you so-and-so word. So nothing will come through of that. It will just be a flash of burnt for Lemon Curd. Just, following in the footsteps of his top laner, really.
Absolutely, you got to give one away to get one. And
look how over Rabbi Birth is. Here comes the follow-up. That's going to be the glacial fissure that follows into the last breath. And the Ninja goes golden explosive cast pulls Big Boy right into the fray. The concussive flows of Villfire picks up the kill. Shouting, I didn't even realize Herald had been dropped, but it is a charging forward. 2 kills for nothing, and AGSB are showing no signs of hitting the brakes, no sign of slowing down. That's going to be another tornado connecting as the inhibitor turret will fall. The follow comes through. However, the gravity field will buy time for neutral to back away, but not enough time to stop the inhibitor being taken. AGSB take everything they want, and they back off safe.
Yeah, absolutely amazing amount of damage coming out from Villfire. Nearly takes down Rat by Birth to start a fight. Starting by taking out your opponent's only remaining threat. Definitely not a bad way to start off a fight. That's half health missing from a Teemo trap. That's quite a risk. Rat by Birth maybe wishing he had the shield bow at this stage. But hey, risked it and didn't quite get the rewards on that mythic item. So with that much teamfight presence coming through, with Lemon Curd dealing a significant amount of all 5 members' health bars, we've got to see Llandrillo try and come together here. They do have a bit of extra gold coming in now. That is an early inhibited stake, and that means that extra super minions are going to be running into their base, killing their minions before AGSB can farm them in that lane, and then giving them an extra amount of gold per wave. That's really significant for keeping this Tristana nice and happy, nice and fed, and getting her to her next item as swiftly as possible. Hopefully, in time to make a difference in the upcoming Baron fight. And Villfire, he's hanging out here. He's just making sure his opponents aren't coming in, sacrificing farm in that bottom lane. So we're going to have to try and see this Baron taken as quickly as possible to keep Kaiser at the place she needs to be.
And I'm glad that AGSB right now, they aren't over-forcing things. They're playing it slowly. They're waiting for the right opportunities, waiting for their cooldowns, and taking the fight. Gunmol, he's going to get caught out again, but here's the thing. There's an Infernal Drake in 15 seconds. Once again, Gunmol is a buying time. He goes in this box. Oh, it's the outplay. It's Houdini. Gunmol will pick up a kill, and he's still running for his life. Another Noxious track is stepped up. The slows come through. Gondol finds one in a 1v4 situation, and AGSB, they're going to be getting their second Infernal Drake of the game.
Can't argue with it at all. That puts them on Infernal's Soul Point at 24 minutes. Only 5 minutes delayed off the speedrun version. But with Gonmol just pulling off these 1v3s, 1v4s, you really got to wonder what the option is here for Llandrillo. They are rapidly running out of options.
They are indeed. And what is the way for Llandrillo to come back in? Do they need to hope and pray for a mistake, or is it something that
they need to get under this Baron? They really do. If this Baron goes down, we're going to really struggle under those Nexus towers, because it is where AGSB are going to end up in the next few minutes.
However, Kha'Zix is on the bottom side of the map. He's not going to be able to steal this. Baron has been secured, and it is on all 5 members of AGSB as well.
All right, 3 minutes on the Baron buff. If AGSB are to stay in, they really have to hold on. They have to keep Tristana firing away on these minions, try and get her up to the wave without sacrificing too much health. They've got to hold on for this 3 minutes, as otherwise Lemon Curd's just going to run down. His flash will be available in this window, and it's just going to be so much of a struggle to keep those Nexus turrets alive.
And I have a question for you as well, Temporal. We're seeing coming through from Huri that Locket of the Iron Solari being the first item pickup. What do you think of that as the first item over, something that we would have seen in the past, like a Zeke's Convergence or a Knight's Vow, both of which have been buffed, especially Zeke's Convergence coming in season
here comes
11.
a neutral Zerg. That is. Oh, that was fast.
That's not C neutral. He's C negative right now.
Vilfire just blasting him down. That is the power of the Kraken Slayer on this on-hit build. Oh boy, that was a lot of damage a lot quickly. So much so I can't even English anymore. You asked a question about the Iron Solari. So both are pretty selfless items. We haven't seen a Sunfire here. It's not much point making Braum tankier. Braum isn't what you pick when you want to soak a load of damage, even though he's doing that pretty successfully right now.
This might not be a good idea for Llandrillo. They take the fight, and the Kazakhs, he's an assassin, but he gets assassinated. A second goes the way of AGSB as Vilfire picks up the kill on Hiyori. And AGSB are pushing on the top and the bottom lane. They are looking to delete the remaining structures in the Dragon base. The inhibitor turret will fall. The inhibitor will fall as well. AGSB, they could look for the end, and I think that is a double knock-up, no last breath. The killer instinct behind picks up the kill. Lemon Curd goes golden. Big Boy Jones surely will fall as the poison ticks down. One Nexus turret remains. AGSB, your third place team in Group A against the sixth place team. No, they're going to back off. The minions will do the work. AGSB take the game.
All right, that's game one over to AGSB. Not totally unexpected, and there were signs of life from Llandrillo, but hey, it's a bit rough. That Gragas Yasuo absolutely huge in the 2v2.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. But I'm not the analyst expert. The analyst expert is the man on my left, right, left,
you're right.
my left. It's Sucky. What did you make of that game?
Yeah, great fun. We spoke about, it was the Yasuo and the Kai'Sa maybe being the big parts, but it was that Gragas. I thought you may have mentioned it, but you didn't have time in that game because Gragas was completely everywhere. The amount of damage that Gragas does in this preseason is just unreal, and the fact that he was able to get those early successful ganks off was really impressive, and he snowballed this game completely out of control.
Yeah, definitely got in there and got his job done. That was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. It's so good to see like the thematic points for Gragas Yasuo hit. Like you gank as soon as Yasuo gets 6, you repeat as soon as the Gragas gets 6, and you just make your opponent's mid laner really unhappy with their quality of laning.
And the two questions I really want to pose before we throw over to Citrus, who is standing by for interviews, is I'll start off with you, Sati. I want you to tell me, for Llandrillo, when they look to their next games, what is, one of the easiest things potentially that they can improve on to become a better team and to find more wins? And for Temporal, what is, if you were coaching, and I know you coach teams, if you had to play AGSB, what would be their one weakness that you would try to exploit?
Well, I if I'm trying to exploit them, I think even though they drafted quite an aggressive bot lane, we said that it was going to be quite, a dynamic lane with both teams going at it. Llandrillo, even though they they picked the Nautilus and the Tristana, two champions that can fight early, they didn't do so. That was their strong side of the map. Timo was winning into the Mordekaiser, Gragas was playing into the mid lane, and that was their opportunity, to really be in that game. And they didn't utilize it. They were the tower. So I think for them, maybe they need to get their jungler down there and set up more, because they can do it. They had the Nautilus, they had enough CC. So I really think that's where they need to step up next time.
I think you're definitely right in enabling their jungler to be more of a presence on the map and get into those lanes before, falling back into the jungle, waiting for those camps to respawn, farming them up again, getting into a lane in a meaningful way. From a coach's perspective, we don't have time to learn to play around Yasuo or Gragas because the next game is coming up in a few minutes. So you ban them. It sounds really lazy, but unless you really want to play something, it would have been a Sejuani in that game that can 2v2 better than Yasuo Gragas in these small unit fights, and then just send the mid at the right time to counter these ganks that come in at specific timing windows. You have to track the Gragas around the jungle, be there at the right time for the first gank, because it was coming in at 6 minutes and 10 seconds, or as soon as that Yasuo dings 6. I'll be communicating with his jungler, so you need to be mapping that yourself and matching. Otherwise, you just play something that sits on mid. As soon as Gragas comes over that wall near your tower, you knock him away, and you make that difficult for him to play. And then you're playing with defender's advantage in the mid lane.
The final thing I would like to bring up is, I mean, it's almost a ritual at this point, but our MVP vote. Sati, I'll start with you.
Nice and easy one this week. Missed the Gragas in the jungle. Slight jungle diff today. Played really well. Played around his winning lane in the Yasuo, and punished some of the spells really well. So yeah, definitely the Gragas there in that game.
Definitely.
And judging by your nodding, Temporal, I'm guessing you agree with that.
Can't vote otherwise. He drank his Kha'Zix opponent under the table, and I think that's the way to do it. Yeah.
Very good.
Well, fantastic. Now, are we ready to throw over to our wonderful host, Citrus, who is standing by? I think Citrus, he must have absolutely loved that game, and he'll be giving you the TLDR as well as a cheeky little interview with one of the players from AGSB.
And what a game that was. Absolutely wall to wall from the draft right through to the Nexus falling. Personally, I was loving the Kaiser pick. It popped off, maybe not as much as a certain jungler, but it was still there. It's still present. I liked it. But, to get a little more insight into the absolute roller coaster of a game we've seen, I am joined by the terror of top himself, top lane for AGSB's Henry Gonmol Zhang. Obviously, huge congratulations, Henry. And yeah, what are your thoughts on that game, my dude?
All right, thanks, bro. Basically, it was mainly because mid lane was so looked after by our Gragas, so we could extend our other leads by killing bot lane and top lane.
Mm-hmm.
So, big props to Gragas there. Very well played.
Oh yeah, for sure. Obviously, the casters picked him out as their MVP for that game. Is that your thought as well?
No. I think I should be the MVP. Not gonna lie.
Okay. All right. Is that just for the spiciness of the Teemo pick? I mean, what was the thought behind that? Because I wasn't expecting a Teemo to come out at all today. By Twitch chat standards, they weren't expecting it either.
I was about to pick Ivan, but my team was like, "Don't pick Ivan," so I picked Teemo. But it's calm. Teemo works, I guess.
Nice. I mean, Teemo into Mordekaiser, you definitely have that early poke advantage on him. Is that something you were kind of banking on, the Mordekaiser playing a bit safe, or?
Yeah, I was just hoping to get the Mordekaiser to a really low, and then he'll be useless to TP, etc., to help other teams. So I didn't take TP because I didn't think I'd need it.
Nice. So just win lane, win game. I like it.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Solid pick. Obviously, that Gragas was super impactful all the way. Anything that you guys think you could have done differently that game, or?
Personally, I think Gragas should have left me the blue, but it was okay.
Okay, so definitely one for your coaches. Just more blues for the Teemos, less blues for Gragas.
Exactly.
But, yeah. Any parting thoughts while we're here?
Not really. No, I'm calm. Cold.
Nice, calm, collected. Teemo destroying in the top lane. Thank you very much for joining us. Obviously, thank you for that game as well. That was certainly incredible.
You too. Thank you.
Enjoy your evening, my man.
You too.
Sweet. And obviously, following that, we can't just have one top laner. We've got to have both of them. We are going to be joined by the biggest of boys, Kyle Big Boy Jones.
You're right.
Hey, obviously we're playing for Llandrillo. Commiserations on the loss there. Obviously, Mordekaiser Teemo isn't the easiest matchup to play. And may have heard it earlier. He was just looking to win lane, win game. What are your thoughts on that? And what do you think you could have done differently to stop the Teemo takeover?
To be fair, one of the things I could have done is looked at a different champion. My Alawi got banned
Right.
right in the start of the phase, which is one of my more comfortable champions, and it was. I was thinking of playing the Alawi, but like he was honestly it's like too much poke for the Maud, so I should have either gone someone that was either a tank or like more of a bruiser-esque that could deal damage from further for a bit of poke in lane. But other than that, he honestly deserved to win that lane after what happened with the ult at the first part of the lane. I ulted him and he put a Teemo shroom down.
Yeah,
before we went
walking
into the ult.
back
And
over those
after-
shrooms. Oof.
That honestly threw me off.
Yeah, I felt your pain as well because I've done that so many times. Not as
Yeah.
not as Maud, but to everything else into Teemo. I just constantly I'll see him put a trap down. I'll look at the trap, and then 5 seconds later, I'm like, "There's no traps there. I'm fine. I'll just all in," and always ends
Yeah.
badly. Oof. Obviously, you guys got taken down pretty hard by the Gragas, going absolutely nuts. You were just barreled through the game, I guess you could say. What are your thoughts on handling that? Did you sort of come up with any strats part way? Were you testing anything in
I was
comms?
more trying to make the Kazakh's path in more towards the mid lane because he was kind of preferring to sit in the mid lane because our mid laner was like overextending with a Yasuo, and we tried to like feed that back to the mid laner, but the Gragas was playing exceptionally well, and I couldn't really do anything. I got a teleport down to bot, which got a pick and the shutdown on him, but that was only because of that. But after that teleport, the Teemo got even more of a lead, and it was kind of like a last resort, and I didn't even get the shutdown.
Oof.
So it was.
Yeah, that was like your. I guess your play
heavy.
to try and get back into the game and deal with the Teemo, because if you'd have gotten that shutdown, it would have
It
tied
could-
things up a little bit in top lane at
Yeah.
least. But ouch! It's got rough game, really.
It
but-
was a rough game, especially the Braum Kai'Sa in the bot lane. That was a very strong bot. We had a Tristana Nautilus.
Yeah, it's not
our
quite got that
Tristana
same peel.
He was fuming. He was fuming at the Braum. Just the stuns were too good, and the Braum ult knock up into the Yasuo ult.
Yeah, I mean, it was all playing around that mid lane, but really rough. Obviously, it's lessons to take away for you guys. Hopefully, you'll get that win next time. And of course, thank you for taking the time to chat after that game.
No problem. I honestly, I was playing for fun. I was having a whale of a time. Like, yeah, we may have been losing, but it was just I don't know why, but I always have fun when I go proto belt. Just the new proto belt makes me just thing.
It is a spicy pick. It is a spicy pick. But that is all we got time for now, my dude. Again, thank you for taking the time to chat with us. Thank you for playing in that game as well. Again, commiserations. Better luck next time for you. We are going to go to a cheeky little break for a few minutes, just to wind down after that one, soak it all in, and then we got the game 2 coming up after this break. Welcome back from the break, guys. I hope you enjoyed the absolute madness of our first one, because there is definitely more of that to come. Will we see more Gragas goodness? Will the terror of Teemo Top return? There is only one way to find out, and that is by bringing back our casters, Milky Cereal and Temporal, for Game 2.
All right, it's good to be back for Game 2 after a bit of a blast in Game 1. Maybe something a bit calmer this time.
Maybe.
Maybe not Milky. Maybe not.
I like Teemo.
I like Teemo too.
But I like it when Teemo's not on the Rift. And I think that might be the same case for Llandrillo Dragons as well. I don't think they like Teemo on the Drift. I think they wanted something a bit more meta, if that expression can be used in preseason.
Definitely. Teemo just is still, he's a little lane bully self, and yeah, he definitely got away with it in that last one.
Absolute nightmare. Well, you heard it from the top laner. He was just there to win lane, win game.
Yeah. And not get blue buffs.
Not get blue buffs,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
most importantly, cause the most trouble possible per amount of time.
I mean, when we did our MVP vote, I think we all pretty much very quickly went over to the Gragas in the jungle. But to be fair to the Teemo, he did draw so much attention to the top side and effectively got 2 free Drakes for his team. And in one situation, found a 1-for-nothing kill in a 1v4 situation.
You can't be arguing with it. While Gragas did give them the entire game, Teemo definitely drew a lot of fire, and you can't argue with your top laner being a magnet for the attention of 3 or 4 other people. It just gives your team the rest of the map. Just a little bit of a cakewalk at that stage. But yeah, he definitely showed up on the Teemo, and fantastic to pick it. I think Big Boy Jones did allude to maybe picking another champion, maybe the Malphite next time, as
he was looking for that Ilaoi, but
Well, I don't know how much better Ilaoi is into Teemo, to be honest. Bit of a risk on that one, but something like the Malphite maybe that gives him the all-in at all times, post level 6, with some magic resist thrown in for good measure.
Well, whoever's playing AGSB next, if you want to give, whoever's playing Llandrillo Dragons next, if you want to give their top laner some PTSD, just pick Teemo, and the win will just follow naturally.
Apparently so, but we'll see. There's definitely ways to play around the Teemo. He is the same terror he's always been, but he's not got that much better or worse in preseason. Instead, maybe has to build tankier than previous. So not enjoying his lane dominance quite so much now that he has to throw a demonic essence into his build. Demonic embrace. New season items are a wild time.
I mean, if you're pairing that up with the Satan Teemo skin, you've got your Dark Harvest as well. I mean, there's something that Riot are just trying to say there, I think. their thoughts towards our mushroom friend.
We'll have to see.
However, I feel like we've talked enough about Game 1. We have a Game 2 coming up. And I think we should talk a little bit about Hills Road, the 8th place team in Group A, taking on Meta Mountains, the 7th place team. But Hills Road, they've only played 3 games so far.
That is not the game we are watching, I believe.
Wait, no? Has it changed? Oh, no.
It is Wycliffe. It is Wycliffe.
This is going to be Wycliffe Esports versus...
I have been bamboozled.
Bamboozled. That's fine. It happens. So yeah, Wycliffe, which I'm enjoying saying properly after saying it wrong for about a year. Last year, going up against AGSB's second team, so will be pretty interesting. I'm briefly going over the accounts now. So
hang on, 2 seconds. I'm just going to get my notes.
Your notes,
There we go. Yeah, right. That's down the drain. Right, there we go. Oh, okay. So Wycliffe, does someone want to let me?
The second Milky just needs a moment. He just absolutely. He's gonna have to recall. He just needs to take a reset. It'll all be fine. He'll get back there.
Can I take a reset back to season 10, please?
He's gonna buy his orange shield.
To be honest,
gonna get his health regen back on. Both teams again, sort of similar archetypes. Both play a bit of solo queue, have their champions they like. So I'm not seeing like anything truly ridiculously stand out that like must be highlighted here. Instead, it's going to be another interesting game of interpreting those preseason items, seeing what the guys have prepared for each other. So you got to remember, you got to practice. You got to sort of have that sort of when you come into even semi-competitive League of Legends, you've got to have the mindset about it. You've got to realize that you're not just bashing people in solo queue. You've got to play to timings. You've got to think about what your opponent's doing. You've got to be reactive and proactive at the same time. Managing all of that when you're just used to maybe playing on your own or maybe playing flex queue with your friends is a bit of a gap. And maybe we'll sort of see the way teams approach that here start to change. We'll start to see. So last game, there were some points where Dragon could have been taken. We could have taken a moment and got priority, and instead it was instant bloodshed. We must fight these people. Gragas has his cooldowns up, and they must go back to Fountain.
But you love to see it, don't you?
You do love to see it. It is a great show. Maybe we'll see a more calm and measured approach to this game.
I mean, that said, it is the safest way to secure an objective. Send them all back to Fountain. They can't contest it from the other side of the map.
Only if you can.
Unless there are long-range ultimates, Ezreal ults and Kai'Sa things,
Yeah, true, but you can't ult if you're dead. Like,
this is also true.
Unless you're Karthus. Unless there's a cheeky Karthus jungle pick coming out next game. That's my prediction. I mean,
that's your prediction,
Kai'Sa, right? Like,
you got. Wait, whoa, hang on, Citrus. You didn't predict a Kai'Sa. You said you liked Kai'Sa. There's a difference, right? I'm checking. I'm checking the words that we are using.
I'll take what I can get. I mentioned Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa showed up. I mentioned Karthus. Who knows?
Go on. I'm okay with the crystal ball coming out here. I'm okay with Citrus being the massive brain.
Should we all make some predictions then on champions that we think are going to make it through this game? Citrus, do you want to stick with the Karthus?
I'm going to say Karthus jungle. I'm going to say Teemo ban.
Teemo ban? I don't think there's going to be a Teemo ban. Temporal, do you want to go next? Or do you want me to go
I
next?
want to see a Nami. The character is very strong. This is the last patch we're going to see auto procking mandate. So maybe Maokai support as well. Both those picks incredibly fun. Nami won't be nerfed on the next patch, but Maokai definitely will. I want to see if anyone here has been sneakily practicing it and can whip that one out to dominate the bot lane.
I'm going to go with Kha'Zix. I think Kha'Zix is strong.
You like Kha'Zix? I think Kha'Zix.
I think Kane would probably be the most sensible pick, but I think I like Kha'Zix right now. So
I mean, can't argue with Kha'Zix at all. Character does fantastic things. I'd prefer to see a slightly more aggressive item selection this game if he comes back out again, but we'll see.
No, I mean, Twitch chat at the moment is trying to predict a Yumi. So,
Yumi?
Twitch chat, just...
Oh, it's Squawk. Hi, Squawk.
Yeah.
No worries.
Can we remove his Sir title? Can we just strip him of his knighthood for that comment?
So this is the thing about Rocket League players. They like to go fast and in straight lines, and Yumi does help everyone do that. So it makes sense. I understand.
I mean, surely he'd want a Cyan pick then if going with that.
Okay, all right. We're gonna tell on Squawk's behalf. We got to go fast. We got to pick Cyan. We got to pick Hecarim. We got to pick Yumi
and Rammus.
Nami ult as well.
Nami ult. Yep. More we gotta have jungle Nami because we already filled the support role. Rammus definitely.
AP mid Rammus. Yeah.
There was something else I saw actually, which I was shown by a friend, which I did not expect to be. I think AP Gangplank is pretty strong. I didn't think it was very good.
AP Gangplank.
Turns out when Gangplank only hits people every few seconds unless he's going all in, which you do when your opponent's already low. So Night Harvester does a little bit of work when you deal big bursts of damage. Let the cooldown go, hit it again, let the cooldown go, so far, so forth.
So is Night Harvester going to be the new thing that LS is promoting, not Leandri's Torment for this season? It'll be like Night Harvester on every champion. It's amazing.
The value of Night Harvester is really interesting. It is tied to how many people you are hitting and how your cooldown plays around I believe it's 6-second timer. 6 seconds is most of the champion interaction.
Runan's Hurricane, Night Harvester, Gangplank. Let's go.
Not sure about the Runan.
Well, if we're talking spicy builds, I tend to keep a little bit of an eye on some of the Korean solo queue stuff that's been going on, just because it's kind of always been a good indicator through the years as to what we might expect to see.
So you are hot on the Dustblade Misfortune then.
I am hotter
maybe not.
on the Mana Moon,
Oh,
Nash's Tooth,
Oh,
London's Echo,
yes.
Phase Rush, Oriana.
Did you know it's already been removed next patch?
Has it already been removed
Yep,
next patch?
they're getting
I
rid of
don't
it next
keep
patch.
up the patch dates with Riot. They just do their thing. They
Patch
go full
notes.
200 years, and I just take advantage of what's there at the time.
Patch notes will be out very, very soon, but they are removing mana unit interactions from magic damage only abilities. So good night, Oriana and Cassiopeia. You had your time in the sun.
Oof.
Well, I'm sure if any viewers are like me and have no idea what on earth Citrus and Temporal are talking about, don't worry, you're not alone. Something that I may have a better idea of what's going on is Champ Select, because we are jumping in, Citrus. Thank you very much for hosting. We'll be back with you for some interviews post a game, and let's see whether any of those picks that we predicted came through. I predicted every champion. Temporal predicted Yumi, and Citrus predicted what's a terrible champion that wouldn't get picked?
I'd predict
Blitzcrank. There we go.
I'd prefer to see the fish. Sir Squawk.
I am rigging this so I can win. All right. Yeah,
we don't stand for that play-by-plays. Just
Temporal went for Nami, and there was a was it Karthus that Citrus had gone for?
Oh yes, Citrus on the Karthus. Nami and Karthus together, fantastic combo. Putting Mandate on all of your Requiem streams is not to be underestimated. Okay, bans coming through. We have 2 top lane tanks taken away here. By, I believe it's AGSB on our left. It is. Definitely didn't just check that. And it's gonna be Wycliffe on our right, who've removed 2 assassins from the pool, not wanting to face down the Akali or the Zed at this stage.
No, and we expected those assassins to be getting banned away. That Teemo ban hasn't come through just yet, and it's actually going to be the Alistair banned away from blue side.
Interesting. So Alistair has shown up a bit in the preseason. He showed up a little at Worlds. The way the 2v2 meta develops, you can maybe start to take advantage of these bot lanes when the support leaves. So did enter the meta very briefly. Echo has been picked up here for AGSB. Has not been as strong as his last season so far. Like, a lot of his power was on the Magus item in the jungle. Now that's been removed, he's struggling a little to find his feet. Some people go for the Riftmaker, some for the Night Harvester, some for the Rocket Belt. I'm normally a Rocket Belt aficionado, but if you're pentakilling, definitely the Night Harvester. Riftmaker is a little bit more complicated.
Speaking of pentakills, we might be getting a bit of a pentakill Swain out. See, I know champ skins.
You're excited, aren't you?
Is it pentakill? Yeah.
There is no pentakill Swain.
What is it? It's Taric, Sona, Karthus?
No. So Sona, Kael, Karthus, Mordekaiser, and you've got me. Who's the 5th? Olaf. Olaf is the drummer.
Oh.
There you go.
Sounds like a terrible band. I prefer KDA to be honest, but the Swain's through. Kane is in. Wait, no. I predicted a cut.
While you stack
Never
the
mind.
tier of the goddess, let's have a mortal reminder of how this draft is going. Jin and Swain are forming the bottom lane here, so you should be excited. You are excited. That's why you can't remember words. Swain support, a lot of fun, has received significant changes on the preseason patch. So that means his W, that sort of Oracle's Eye, now spreads completely around the map if you're in the mid lane. Very large range. Also received some changes to his Q that increase the repeatability of that ability. Will be answered with Galio Gangplank. Galio, quite a commitment into Swain, as they are both going to be at close range. Whichever one of them gets ahead will set a lot more conditions on the other in a way that cannot be responded to. Gangplank coming through. Maybe it's the AP form here. I really hope it is. It's a lot of fun to watch. If not, Gangplank are also doing okay on this patch. Goes into the Navori later on. His crit build costs a lot early on. We'll be getting buffs next patch in the form of Essence Reaver, getting extra AD on it. Kayn has been picked up here on R3, so that will round out the first round here for Wycliffe. Kayn doing fantastically well at the moment as a Gore Drinker abuser. This ability lets you sweep a miniature Darius Q around yourself and heal for each champion you hit and your missing health. Kayn already does significant healing based on his health and the damage he has done. So in that case, definitely becomes this unkillable sort of zombie who deals a lot of chunky damage to you and restores it to himself. Shen picked up here for the red side, a reliable top laner. Our first Sunfire builders today, and definitely enjoying the preseason item changes. And now I'm getting to the exciting bit. Ashe Nami here for AGSB. Nami, incredibly strong on this patch. Mandate is nearly unrivaled if your champion can proc it effectively, and Nami is maybe the best in the game. She puts a Tidecaller's Blessing on an AD carry or caster, and as soon as they proc the E, that is both stacks immediately triggered. This adds up to 400 damage at level 18 just off the back of this item.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage that comes through with, well, the Ardent Sensor and what is the new one? It is, I should know this, Staff of Flowing Water. There we go.
Staff of Flowing Water, definitely the second pick up here for Nami after the Mandate. It adds so much to your carries and movement options. Katarina, the R5 here for Wycliffe. Wycliffe, I did it. I called them the wrong name already.
Well,
Wycliffe,
well.
so noticing that there's not a lot of hard CC outside of the Parallel Convergence and the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, so we'll be looking to try and abuse that, try and make sure Galio can't use the taunt for the longest amount of time.
Speaking of Gallios, we have heroes entrances, and we have a hero of our own who will be joining us as our analyst. Sati, are you ready to try to break this down for the puny minds of myself and the ginormous brain of Temporal, and of course our Twitch viewers, because they of course have the biggest brains of anyone?
Well, you guys have already done a good job, because the biggest thing in this game, I always said his name there, is the Kane for me. I really wasn't expecting this champion to go through at all, and because he is so strong at the moment, and he was able to pick it on R3, red 3 there, into 3 melee champions. We expect him to go red. It is really strong. This Kane is really strong, and it's kind of a dream game for it. So Wycliffe looking really good.
All right. Yeah, it will be interesting to see. Maybe he does go for the assassin style. I haven't checked which he plays in solo queue too much, but lots of King games. So it will be super interesting. What I am mostly interested to see is something I actually missed in the draft. This can be a Swain and Shen flex, and I'm not sure which of these players plays which role, as that is not in front of me immediately. So we may still be seeing the Swain in the top side.
Something else I do want to bring up is the Katarina has come through. So not only do we have this Kane, but we have the Katarina as well. But something that can really hurt any Katarina player is CC and the ability just to stop Katarina in her tracks. Do you think that AGSB have any of that easily applied CC to stop this Katarina steamrolling through the composition?
I mean, they have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, which same with the Galio taunt, which will be needed for the Katarina, but not just that. They're going to need a Kane as well. Both these champions are going to be needed to lock down. So let's hope for AGSB's sake that they have enough CC to deal with these 2 really strong champions.
Will be the condition as well. Mages can now pick up the anti-heal for 800 instead of 1600 gold, so not completely the end of the world. Galio wants to pick that one up for himself. Won't be the most effective, but definitely an option. And it will be interesting to see which way they go about this, because you're right, they have a lot of things they need to CC. They need to keep Swain out. They need to stop Shen's Stand United target becoming the threat, and they need to stop Katarina pushing R. So it will be difficult to answer all of those questions and keep the game going.
Now, when we were going into game 1, Temporal, you spoke specifically about Jhin being a strong pick, being able to build both a crit and lethality. But you've also talked about how the Ashe Nami is a strong lane. So where do you really see what we expect to be Jhin Swain going against this Ashe Nami?
Absolutely. So Jhin normally the answer to Ashe. So it will be interesting to see if he goes for the boot start, tries to minimize that as much as possible. If I got that the wrong way around, I'm having a brain moment here where I can't remember which way around Jhin and Ashe go, which is pretty bad. Both are pretty much the iconic Season 10 bot lane of Worlds. Jhin sort of has to escape Ashe's normal AD carry role. He has to do enough damage that in his much smaller rotations than Ashe's, he has to either commit to make sure someone else is out of a team fight, or play through quicker so that her damage doesn't get to this nice even profile where he can spike someone, that matters, team goes forwards, wins the team fight. It's going to be quite difficult against Nami in a vacuum. Nami quite good at disrupting Jhin. His positioning sort of fixed at many times in the lane. So it's going to be quite difficult to see whether he does that. Most Jins, because of this, will pick up boots and potions at level 1. Let's see if Awesome Sauce continues to do this in the preseason.
And Sati, we haven't really spoken much about how the team comps really match against each other and how they're really looking to fight their fights, because when you do look over to the side of AGSB, they do have this Gangplank which can just sit in the side lane and do so much work.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. But the thing is that both top laners have these global ultimates. So both of them can be in that 1v1 matchup, and obviously Shen will need to leave the lane to do so. And this Gangplank will scale really well. So yeah, I think this top lane is really, really important. In season 10 at least, this was actually a favorable matchup for the Gangplank. Season 11's crazy. I haven't played this match, but I haven't seen it very much, so I'm not sure it might have changed. The new tank items on Shen are like crazy good, like it is on most tanks. So maybe this matchup goes a different way. But yeah, I think this top lane is really important as they can affect the map from the complete opposite side.
So before we really jump into the nitty gritty, just like I asked in last game, what is that probably most important win conditions for both sides? Sati, I'll start off with you.
Well, they need to stop Kane snowballing. This guy's getting gold, and in his form, we're not quite sure if he's gone Conqueror or Dark Harvest, whether he's going towards Red or but they need to stop this Kane from getting out of control.
Looks to be an electrocute here.
Sati, thank you very much for joining us, but we are into game. Parallel Convergence almost catches our buddy. He will be able to stay nice and healthy. Sorry about that one, Temporal. So your win conditions then.
My win conditions. Yes. If this Ashe manages to pop off, the Nami will have a lot more presence in lane than the Swain. That's a single option. Playing through the Katarina Kane Death Squad, just roaming around 2v2ing everyone, or just 2vxing, because at some stage they will be able to take over. It's definitely a reasonable option. I am not sure on Electrocute. It's been a hot minute since I've looked at Blue Kane runes, so that might be the Assassin form coming through. But definitely missing out on that one there. And then Shen to back it all up. Making those small unit fights matter is going to be the way for Wycliffe to push this game forwards. Conversely, AGSB looking at bigger unit fights. You want to make Galio ulti matter the most, Gangplank ulti matter the most. You want to start off with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow in a disadvantageous way for your opponents. That means generally you want the biggest fight on the back of those long cooldowns, and making sure that they don't just burn it for one and then not capitalize on an objective or cause another fight. Definitely the way forwards here for AGSB.
Well, that first Drake will be a mountain, and we said that we were expecting to see some priority over the early Drakes in game 1. Do you think that's going to be the case here in game 2?
Yeah, I think both of these teams have to commit to a team fight of some form that they want to see. Oh, Ashe pulled. That's a reasonable chunk in the bottom lane to start. Yeah, so dragons matter the most. If either team gets a string of mountain dragons, it's harder to start either of those fights, and all the difficulty goes up for the team that does not acquire them. A similar thing, AGSB are looking for their cooldown. So if Cloud Dragons are on the Rift, you start this scale where if they get them, they're having a good time. If they don't get them, that doesn't transpire. Conversely, Infernal, great for both of these teams. You want to pop off and win that fight as quickly as possible. And with fantastic scaling for the Gangplank, for the Ashe, lots of items built that have the ratios that scale up, you're going to have a much better time.
Yep. As in the mid lane, that's going to be the taunt coming through. Katarina just getting a little bit too aggressive for her boots, which doesn't have any boots just yet, so I don't know if that is really possible to pull.
Talking of boots, Jhin did go for the Darn's Blade in the end, so just opting into that more standard start. Maybe knows and loves already, and yeah, just a bit of a waiting game here. Both teams do scale up fantastically, but we've got to get there just first.
The taunt just not connecting with the Katarina, because if that could have been a kill going over to Zetsu. And now the Katarina has been spotted by the Echo. Parallel convergence coming through. Can't Shumpo away. Is there the damage? No, not quite. And the Shumpo will come through for the Katarina to take her out to safety.
It was pretty close. Alfei nearly picking up that second proc of his passive, the Z-Drive, and dealing a whole bunch more damage instead. This mid lane fraught with issues for both sides, and instead will continue to be a point of inflection. Both junglers hovering nearby, no one committing just yet.
And we should probably talk a little bit about the top side, because GYQ is playing this very aggressively and just trying to bully out Buddy as much as he can from any form of CS, which of course he can do with the powder kegs and with the parlay.
Getting a lead over the Shen at this stage is really important. Trying to delay the Barmy, delay him from picking up those health stacking items, becoming more useful at level 6. The trade comes forward. GYQ not going for the dive at this stage. Doesn't have the ignite. So reasonably expected. Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Well, he can now get a flash parlay, and that might be enough to pick up the kill. But red side is step forward. That's going to be the Blade's reach. Flash away, flash forward. GYQ picks up the kill. And Baby Yushi on the chase. Can he turn this around? That's going to be one turret shot parlay. The minion autos make it a double kill for GYQ, who finds the outplay and is a 2-0 on the gangplank.
GYQ did something really important there that matters the most if you're playing scaling solo laners. When his opponent came to disrupt his early game plan, he just held his calm. He looked at that barrel, and he knew that even though he'd burnt his cooldowns maybe not the way he wanted to, didn't queue the barrel, instead just played it calm, played to his barrel, hit both opponents with the detonation, without which any further play would not be possible, and then just manages to play it procedurally forwards, take the minimum amount of damage. That is exactly the micro that was necessary to come out ahead and literally 2v1 the top side.
Well, that's a good never move and a beautiful deadly flourish to follow. But the Echo is here, parallel convergence, and the ultimate, the cannon barrage is dropped. GYQ will take the assist for the kill. That is claimed by, I'm going to say, the Alpha.
The Alpha does pick it up. Yeah, a bit of unfortunate timing. Jin and Swain overextending a little to pull off their full combo. That means that will be responded to. Oh man, this gangplank really hurt.
That's a shadow taunt, and Buddy does not want to go in, alright? Buddy's gonna back on off as AGSB look towards the Mountain Drake. 6.5 minutes in, and it has been secured.
I'm just going to do a quick check. We have a 1,100 gold lead for this gangplank, and now a Mountain Dragon. This top lane is going to get out of hand pretty quickly, and it's going to start to set conditions on Baby Yushi on Wycliffe Esports 1 to maybe be visiting this top lane before he reaches level 9 and reaches one of his first power spikes. And Gangplank won't really tail off either, so this top lane setting a lot of conditions. That is so much damage to be dealing with in lane.
And the Katarina is playing this well, Shumpoing in, finding some damage, and just able to get out of the range of that taunt before it does come through. We do see an Aqua Prison dropped in the bottom lane, but not quite going to be able to connect with Awesome Source and Dull Thunder.
Alright. It's important to know that even though we've hyped up this Nami, the champion does have to wait until it can buy its full Imperial mandate for that extra strength to come through in this season. So we're holding on for Nami. This is her weakest point in the game. And meanwhile, another champion's weakest point in the game, the Gangplank, is just steamrolling ahead with some fantastic play.
Yeah, he is indeed. The Shen will be able to find the taunt under tower, but that is a beautiful remove Scurvy, and he takes practically no damage at all. Good never move to come through, followed by the deadly flourish. Bouncing grenade, and the fourth shot is the first kill for Wycliffe. Unboard Trespass, and that is not the Stand United that Buddy wanted to be done.
A little miscommunication here, unfortunately, leaves Baby Yushi and I Am Buddy a little bit out of synchronization. Not like their bottom laners. Awesome Source and Dull Thunder managed to pick up the kill, get the fourth shot onto Bestglaz. It's not great for the Ashe at this stage, but she's got to hold on. She's got to keep scaling. It's unfortunate to bleed some resources while doing so, but you've sort of got to play to this game plan that you've locked in.
Oh,
of
the
getting
Alpha
to the
is
mandate.
on the top side. Parallel Convergence is dropped. Will it be able to follow? Chrono Break, or pardon me, Chrono Break is up, but won't be needed by Alpha. Maybe Yushi turning up. Look at the powder kegs! Alpha picks up the kill. Cannon Barrage is up, and GYQ might just drop this to cancel the reset.
Maybe a bit of overinvestment when you're this far ahead. The reset not worth as much as maybe killing both bot laners and extending your bounty, your gold lead. Instead, we're gonna wait and see. Oh, fast moves from Wycliffe Esports.
Zetsu just said, "Here, you know you want to take them," and Katarina said, "Yes, I do, and I'll take them, and I'll dash back out before you can do anything as well."
It's always great to see when your opponent is like setting up for that, like doing a set play. It's just like, oh, I'll just do what I wanted anyway, but I'll just move out the way of your set play very quickly.
Well, the Rift Herald is secured in AGSB. Well, we saw AGSB playing earlier today, and they took a rather comfortable victory, but this seems to be an even more comfortable game for them so far, having secured the first Drake and that first Rift Herald within the first 10 minutes.
You can't argue with a quick start on a team that wants to scale, accelerate, and protect its two primary carries in Ashe and Gangplank with those so fantastic tools, the Parallel Convergence, and literally every ability Nami has, and the Hero's Entrance. I don't think AGSB can be upset with their performance so far at all. The 2,000 gold lead coming through will matter most for the next 10 minutes, and then once their champions are scaled, going to be a little bit difficult for Wycliffe to come back in.
Yeah. And this game is almost reminding me, I can't remember which game, I feel like it was Suning at Worlds, where the Gangplank got a Sheen, you know, I think it was, what, 2 minutes into the game from First Blood?
And so the invade gave Suning's Bin, their top laner, a lot of gold, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And he definitely continued to push his advantage throughout the game, something we're seeing replicate reasonably well here. GYQ will be picking up his Triforce pretty soon. That traditional Gangplank build we all know and love. You have to pick up your Infinity Edge a little bit later these days. The nerfed passive not quite offering what it used to.
Well, the Parallel Convergence has been dropped. Won't quite find the CC onto the Katarina. The Kayn is here. The Taunt will come through. Blades Reach finds a bit of damage. A turret shot through onto Alpha as well, but the turret plates go the way of AGSB on the top side. A bit of a trade coming through, and for once, Iron Buddy comes out on top.
Yeah, just about holds his own up there. Has his Balmy Cinder now, so that did most of the damage here to GYQ, paired with his minions. Plates on middle have set up AGSB with priority to get onto this dragon. They're not able to convert at the moment, though. The bottom lane is shoved in a little too far. Awesome Source and Dull Thunder holding their own down there. Small CS lead. It's all they've got to hold on to at the moment, but the priority for now denies the dragon.
Yeah. And don't forget, AGSB, they have got that Cannon Barrage if something does conspire. As here comes the Kayn. Cannon Barrage is dropped defensively. GYQ forced to flash out to safety. But now, with a jungler on the top side of the map from Wycliffe, this does mean AGSB can turn towards the Drake themselves.
They do. They rush straight down onto it. Zetsu and Alpha not wasting any time, and they will be spotted out here. That is the eye coming out from Dull Thunder. It's going to be pretty hard now that bot lane priority is matched to get up to this dragon, though. So it will be AGSB picking that one up, and they continue their roll towards Soul Point, and it will be an Inferno Soul to top it all off.
Now, the only thing that really seems to be going well for Wycliffe at the moment is that bottom side of the map. Awesome Source, he's got a 10 CS advantage. He's got a kill advantage over Best Glaze. But can Wycliffe use this slight advantage and get a lead? As Katarina turned up to the top side, the Death Blossom comes through, and Katarina looking to turn things. The Conqueror is stacked, and that's the shutdown going over to the Wycliffe mid lane.
All right, we did mention that the Gangplank had to be addressed, preferably before level 9, but you know what? At level 9 isn't so bad either. That means that some gold is coming back over. Wycliffe Esports and Iron Buddy will be picking that one up. And that does mean that this category can maybe get her first item on the board. Alpha visiting the bot lane, Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes wide.
everything goes wide temporal, and Enchanted Crystal Arrow doesn't land. Neither does the parallel convergence. Nitro Dude opting against using the ultimate. As you do love to see that, don't you? When the back cancel is cancelled in itself because of a big fat shields on a Galio.
You've got to love it. Yep. Hitting the magic shield just will not do any actual damage. Teleport comes through, we'll get Zetsu back into this lane. Bit preemptive maybe to try and set up for this Rift Herald at this stage. Okay, I do want to address Katarina very quickly. Milky, have you noticed which item she's built?
Is that a Blade of the Ring King?
It is a Blade of the Ring King. Forget the days when Cat stacked ability power. They're all finished. All of the new on-hit effects of these AD items just seem to outclass those of the AP items, especially when Katarina's ultimate now applies on-hit effects. That means that stuff like this, stuff like Ravenous Hydra, I see a lot of lethality items as well on occasion. Sometimes the Collector, sometimes other things come through on Katarina. And lots of like these bruisery items are generally best in slot for her. So look to see a couple more unusual things built on the Katarina in the coming minutes.
Well, we will have to see what the Katarina does pick up 15 minutes into the game, and it is 2 Drakes to 0 if anyone is tuning in. This is AGSB versus Wycliffe. We saw AGSB take the win against Llandrillo Dragons earlier on this afternoon. And the second team of AGSB are looking to follow in the way, although I don't really know if we can call them a second team considering how well they are playing right now.
Absolutely holding their early lead. Just to account, they did slip a little. It is no longer a 2,000 gold lead, but instead holding steady at 1,500 and continuing to put out so much pressure. Here comes Baby Yushi to change that story.
It doesn't do the good flash taunt comes through Cannon Barrage. Can GYQ turn this around? Vision of Empire not going to be able to connect. Flasher forward, picks up the kill for Baby Yushi. Surely will get deleted here. Oh, the Stadion Knight might just be enough, but everyone is so low. Spirit Refuge is huge, but it is not enough. And Alfei surely will be able to find 2 kills. Yes, he does, because he is unable to shadow step onto the right side of the wall.
Fantastic work from Alfei, holding the Chrono Breaker.
Oh, that's a good one! Oh! It's going to be the dash as well, the kill! The Enchanted Crystal Arrow follows through. The Swain will go with Golden. Flash forward, can't quite find the kill with the Demonic Embrace. And there's the volley. There are the autos. Best Glazy U picks up another kill for AGSB.
Ash just there on time lands the arrow to finish off a fantastic chain of events, and that's AGSB growing their gold lead to 3,000, playing through these team fights. They're smaller unit for now, but they deny Wycliffe Esports at every opportunity across the map. You send 2 people top, well, we're going to send Alfei up there as well. You try and engage too hard on Zetsu in middle, Best Glass will be there to turn it around and throw it back in the face of Wycliffe as they commit just too hard and don't get anything out of their investment.
And Temporal, why do I feel that this is a repeat of what we saw in Game 1 when AGSB took on Llandrillo Dragons? Just that instead of seeing so much focus towards the Teemo, 25 to 30 minutes in, we're seeing all of this focus on the Gangplank 10 to 15 minutes in. And you can focus a Gangplank, and even if you put the Gangplank behind, it doesn't matter because Gangplank will scale so well.
I mean, it matters to the stage. He has to be a presence in the side lane, and Shen can definitely reach that where Gangplank isn't able to take over. But with the barrels, with the way he's played this lane, GYQ able to keep in. Unfortunately,
Flush will connect the pullback. Zetsu will dash forward. Proto belts out, but it doesn't matter because the Death Blossom picks up the kill, and Wycliffe will find their 4th kill of the game.
They do manage to take away AGSB's auto priority onto the Drake from that last fight. Gold Drinker complete. Baby Yushi is now in the mode he wants to be into. Here comes Alfei.
Here we go. Convergence. Enchanted Crystal Arrow will not be able to find his mark. Baby Yushi low, and that's the steal. Chrono Break is huge. Baby Yushi gets taken down solo. Will be able to use the dash to heal up, but that is all that comes through. The Drake is secured beautifully, and a 3rd Drake of the game for AGSB.
All right, I keep mentioning priority here before dragons. Priority does not matter if you take the dragon in a way that your opponent with less priority than you can still contest it. So a little coin flip there. Alphei's biggest smite did matter, but allowed Baby Yushi to make that first misstep. Smite came through a little early, 50 HP remaining. That just means that Alphei is just going to take it away from you. All your CC burned a little too early. That just means that it's free real estate. We're on Infernal Soul Point at 18 minutes.
Yeah, we are indeed. That Infernal Soul could be huge. You're looking at an Echo and an Ash. And actually, this Gangplank as well, who will take that extra damage, and they will be absolutely loving it. We've got the Trinity Force completed 20 minutes in. Caulfield Warhammer picked up as well for GYQ. And right now, Temporal, the question is, how do Wycliffe get back into this game?
Small unit fights and actually showing their gin up to a fight. Awesome Source has not been able to join in almost, except for that pick in the bottom lane before Dragon. He is ahead. He has his Eclipse. He's building his second item. You have to get this guy a little bit richer, get his Collector on. After that, just get him into these team fights. These positions where Dull Thunder is getting punished, where Baby Yushi is committing, you need to get Awesome Source in there to do like the lion's share of the damage and set his teammates up. I don't think we've seen a single curtain call this game yet.
No, I don't think we have, and I don't think Awesome Source has really had the opportunity to drop one down either.
They need to create these opportunities themselves. If they wait, the greater 5v5 team composition for AGSB will nullify that advantage. And most importantly, I can nearly see a finished Imperial Mandate down here for Nami.
Oh, Alfie, that is dirty.
Maybe she cancelled just a little, and Alfie takes away the Scuttle Crab. That's got to feel bad. It always feels really bad to have something you've nearly killed stolen away from you.
And the key term there is nearly. Just like Baby Yushi nearly killed the Drake. Once again, it's another neutral objective that is stolen by Alfei. And, you know, I'm guessing that's stacking up a little bit now. Maybe I'll start to play in the minds of Baby Yushi as the Shadow Taunt will come through. GYQ, can he outplay this? There's a teleport available for Zetsu. Can he join in the fray? No. Oh, the hero's entrance comes through. Justice upon Shadow Dash away. The taunt will not connect. You ask for those little fights. Well, they're coming in, and it's not just one, it's two. It's a double kill for the Katarina. But while all of this goes on, AGSB, they're pushing through in the mid lane with the Rift Herald.
So cross-mapping here, Shelly coming down and managing to take away their inhibited tower. Oh, Minions maybe? Nope. Nope, no inhibitors is out today. 1 hit point remaining. Managing to take away the T2 at least. Getting some gold back for the investment from Wycliffe in top lane. I just do want to highlight, with these lane assignments, with the bot lane still going bot, top lane still going top, they are ending up in a position where the top lane has to overextend to stay in lane, where mid wants to leave and roam. Mid leaving or roaming is fantastic. Getting that Galio on the
I'm going to hold you there because Alfei is looking to go in. Parallel convergence. The shield will be picked up, but there is no stun. The Katarina is walking out. Oh, beautiful Shumpo away. But can Alfei keep on chasing? Dashes forward, but only goes to a minion, and the Katarina is out.
Yeah, not too much danger there. Alfei really has to hit that parallel convergence perfectly if he's to lock down the slipperier members of Wycliffe Esports. Baby Yushi can quite easily just disappear into a wall, and Wycliffe Esports 1 can definitely just blink away as well. You're right that something could have happened, but we're just relaxing until that CC hits, I suppose.
I mean, GYQ had the teleport, and I thought maybe there's something GYQ TP's in. What could be going on?
What could be going on?
But
I mean, that's definitely a good play. Heavy investment when you're ahead on the Gangplank, though. He's picked up his Navori here, so he's almost ready to team fight is this Gangplank. I normally do see other crit items come through first. I think Navori only has limited crit itself, 20%. So it won't be hugely impactful just yet. That item tends to come into its own a little later.
Well, but GYQ, he needs to be ready to team fight because the Infernal Drake and the Infernal Soul has just popped up, and everyone is on the bottom side of the map.
Alright, the full 5v5 here. Skullcrab goes down. Just a little advantage. The bubble hits Awesome Sauce, but there's no follow.
Oh.
I thought that
Convergence is a drop. Will this be another steal? Flash forward, they go in the fight. The Drake is secured, but who takes the fight? AGSB are running through Wycliffe. They take 3, they take 4. Triple kill for GYQ. The taunt will not connect. Buddy is out, but Buddy, it does not matter because all your buddies are dead. 4 kills for absolutely diddly squad. AGSB run through Wycliffe.
But who does manage to steal away the dragon in the midst of that fight. And you know what really hurts me, Milky? The Collector was picked up on Awesome Sauce after he went back to base. I think delaying the dragon here to get that second item on your AD carry, who is your final...
And the tower is still up. Another taunt comes through from the Galio. Surely Buddy gets taken down. Beautifully played to pick up 1 kill under the tower. Rocket belts come through. Buddy stays alive, and now all of Wycliffe have respawned. The inhibitor is back up. The curtain call is dropped for the first time, but none of those shots will be connecting.
None of those shots connect at all. I'd prefer to see Awesome Sauce do that on the approach to the dragon, to be honest, and make AGSB's life a little bit harder, but that's okay. It goes a little wide here, using it with the increased item damage instead. This is a bit rough now. Wycliffe are missing their opportunities, somewhat to speak. So they instead now have to engineer another small unit fight. It's probably going to be around a rotation from mid to Baron. I'm going to try and get in there before Nitro Dude sets up. Is that going to be the mandate? Come on, friend. I really want to see this Imperial mandate. I can't remember how much it costs. Looks like we're waiting for it in base. That's a pretty good option. Most characters getting their second item through now. Oh, there it is. Oh, no, it's the Moonstone Renewer.
He changed it. He baited you, Temporal. Right, I've got my MVP vote. It's Nitro Dude for hard baiting.
The Moonstone Renewer is a fine item, but Mandate is, like, almost removed from the game worthy. So, it's alright. We'll see how the Moonstone Renewer does on Nami. Spoiler alert, it's completely fine. Just adds a little bit.
It's a lot of healing.
It's like lots of little bits, and when your opponent are trying to pick off like individual people, it prioritizes low health targets. It does like little bits of burst healing. That's quite good at pushing off people trying to pick out one person in a quick fashion who don't have healing reduction ready themselves. Bless Glaz's EU's healing reduction did come in clutch that last team fight, gave Baby Yushi, Wycliffe Esports, and Dull Thunder quite a run for their money, as all of their active healing options, their in-fight stuff, the Swain ulti, the Blade of the Ruin King, and Riftwalker now, and Baby Yushi's passive, a real reduction in what they can do. We're seeing AGSB set up around the Baron multi, the Blade of the Ruin King, and Riftwalker. Otherwise, this is going to be the Baby Yushi's passive, a real reduction.
Baby Yushi, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow connects. The instant flash wave will hold Baby Yushi alive. But that's a flasher down for the jungler. It might make securing this Baron a little bit easier for AGSB. And you spoke about the Gore Drinker. Well, it's been picked up at 4 Kane. And we've also got the Riftmaker picked up by the Katarina.
Definitely. The Riftmaker is a new one for me, because it stacks up over time, not with each hit. So I think Katarina normally wants more instant damage, but we'll see how that one works out. It's not one I've seen before. Oh dear, Baby Yushi does manage to get onto Nitro Dude here.
Yep, and out comes... Oh, that is a cannon barrage drop. Katarina will find one. The curtain call is here as well. Taunted is Baby Yushi, and Baby Yushi will drop. Dull Thunder getting just kited down by Best Glaze. One more order. The bird's coming through. The volley doesn't connect. Blast over with the cone. Picks up the kill, but gets taken down by Awesome Sauce nonetheless. 2 kills for 2, but AGSB come out on top, and they secure the top lane outer turret as well.
At this stage, that is a win for Wycliffe. They have to create these chaotic sort of situations for their opponent to lose coherence in. They pick off Nitro Dude early here. They get Wycliffe Esports 1 into position for a Death Lotus, and then play forwards from the reset. Baby Yushi didn't manage to roleplay too much, and Dull Thunder does eventually fall, but they take Best Glass EU with them. And getting that gold back over onto Awesome Sauce at this stage is more than they can ask for. They need to get the Jhin and the Katarina in position to be able to stage and actually contest the objectives as we move move towards Dragon Soul and the Baron contest coming up in just under a minute.
Drake up in 3 seconds time. The collector has been purchased for GYQ. That's the item that you were saying this gangplank needs to be relevant in the team fight. Well, he is now going to be more relevant than ever. Who starts the fight? Who pulls off the engage? The Drake has been tickled.
Maybe you pulled here. Are they learning from last time? They don't have priority in any lanes. AGSB's minions making a bit better work of their own, so they will slowly lose the position on this pit. So they maybe...
Yeah, and the parallel convergence buys a bit of her time. That's going to be the never move. Saladin will not be able to get a galley coming right in. Finds the 3-man sword. And the wave is insane. Katarina going in. But Kata gets deleted just as much. And a sword. It's a double. It's a triple. 4 kills going the way of AGSB. And they run through Wycliffe. They will secure the Infernal Soul as well. And while Temporada might not be game, it's really, really close to being game.
May well be game. GYQ running straight up to middle here to try and secure this inhibitor. I do appreciate the delayed take. Even if they weren't able to maybe take it last time, they strictly shouldn't have. Giving the extra gold over to Katarina and Jin, definitely a trap we maybe saw not executed fantastically last game. So instead, now gaining that auto priority in middle, they must respond to the super minions. Otherwise, it's not going to take a lot for Zetsu and GYQ to teleport into the base, finish it all off with their empowered auto attacks. Right, the Baron contest coming up now. This is probably going to go uncontested. Baby Yushi's going to have to sprint over from middle to try and get the smite.
He will have to sprint down, but how much do Wycliffe risk how much do Wycliffe risk? Do they risk, sacrificing one
everything,
member?
The game's nearly over.
Well, it doesn't matter because the Baron is already been secured. The curtain call is too little, too late. And that's Infernal Soul and Baron now for AGSB. They're going to reset, and maybe one more push will spell the end for Wycliffe.
I think absolutely, if you can run into your opponent's base, capture all 3 waves at this stage, it is looking dire. Wycliffe will need to find some absolutely perfect setup within their own base, so not much terrain to hide behind. Of course, Awesome Source to go uncontested again, not much room for Dull Thunder to sort of bait them out and try and get into the front line and achieve a huge ultimate. Instead, it's just going to be inside their base if AGSB get their way, and it's going to be a straightforward fight. And we've seen time and time again how their composition that they've built up with this massive gold lead now, hanging over their opponents, does so well in the straight 5v5. It's going to be a real wonder if they manage to come back from this one.
It will be difficult, but it is not impossible. And you talk about those straight 5v5 fights. If you try to fight 5v5 in an enclosed area against AGSB, they've got the likes of the Parallel Convergence, the Chrono Break, the Cannon Barrage, Tidal Wave. There's just so much stuff that AGSB, they just have to spam press the buttons, and it literally just wins them the fight right now.
As long as they keep Best Class EU alive, that recipe will land. But they can't be missing all of their CC, otherwise Wycliffe Esports 1 and Dull Thunder will eventually go uncontested. They will still be able to walk through. So we're going to try and find an edge here. Flank from Baby Yushi won't be successful. It is
who is catching out who? Alpha has been spotted. He'll take one shot. And Temporal, does this mean that the answer for Wycliffe, the plan has to be to take down Best Glaze EU? And if that is the case, do you focus Best Glaze or do you focus Nitro Dude?
You send in Baby Yushi as the submarine, and you take Buddy with him via the Stand United. You try and get Best Class EU's auto attacks completely nullified by the Chen Shield. Here comes the engage. They're fishing for the end of the game.
Sword's not going to connect her, but Alpha goes right in, and it's been deleted. Hero's Entrance finds the 2-man knocker, but he will fall. The dash forward, 3 makes that a 4. Surely as Baby Yushi will drop as well. It's just a Katarina. Katarina and 2 Nexus turrets against the wall. Can't get back to the fountain to heal, and that will be game. AGSB find the ace 4-3. They take down the final Nexus turret with the 2 minions nearby. 33 minutes into the game, Wycliffe tried their hardest, but it will not be enough as AGSB on the day make it 2 wins from 2.
It was such a shame. Wycliffe Esports 1 did manage to take out Best Class EU, but at what cost? They pay with 4 of their teammates and their immediate demise as AGSB just make it 2-0 for the school on the night. So, yeah, fantastic work once again.
It's surely got to be a good day for the school. Sutty, what did you make of that?
What a great game. Another really great performance from AGSB. I mean, the gangplank for me, you know, the really part of this game, just drawing so much pressure. A really great game to watch and a great show.
Temporal, I think it's time to do our very ritualistic MVPs. Do you want to go first, and then Sutty, you can give your pick?
I'm gonna give it to the. I can't remember the 3 characters we were abbreviating his name to.
GYQ.
GYQ, close enough. You've caught me after work. Gangplank definitely earned that one here. Setting up for that 2v1, it just set the pace for the rest of the game where AGSB were ahead, and then the cat and mouse went down to Wycliffe trying to play catch up.
Yeah, and for me, you know, I alluded to it slightly, but you know, it is the, you know, he was able to get his own advantages in this lane. You know, I spoke about Gangplank in season 10 being a good matchup into the Shen. You know, but you know, after the early lane pressure, he was able to pick up a Sheen like straight away. 700 gold that item cost now, so strong on Gangplank. You know, and he was able to draw so much pressure. There was the Kane coming up there 2, 3, 4 times. You know, there was, it meant that the bot lane of AGSB were able to move mid and they were getting picked there. So yeah, for me, MVP has to be the Gangplank. Really well played.
I do have to agree with you, that Gangplank coming through. Now, before we do throw to interviews again, I want to ask, just like I did in the last game, what do you think AGSB could look to improve on, Sutty? That's the question I've got for you. And for Temporal, what can Wycliffe look to, you know, take as a positive and build upon, or is there a negative that they can try to improve that's more important?
Yeah, well, I can go first and say that I think for AGSB, you know, they did really well to snowball the game. You know, they were getting the but you know, when they get a lead with the scaling can slow down a little bit, you know, because you know they did lose an Infernal. So you know, if they can just compose themselves in the game, make sure that they're getting heralds, they have the proper setups for these objectives, you know, because they are ahead. They do have skilled players in this team. You know, that's quite evident. So you know, calm down and take the game as slow as they need to.
All right. Conversely, for Wycliffe, moments of brilliance there. I think they just need to make sure they're all on the same page and they know whether they are simply contesting something, whether they're fully committing or not. And communicating that out loud is a very difficult part of competitive League of Legends, even up to the professional level. You've got to be able to say what we're doing here. You've got to think about all of your teammates' cooldowns if you're calling for them. You've got to submit information, receive information, make a choice as 5 people. That's quite difficult. Making sure Jin was there for pivotal fights could have sent this game the other way in the middle when we saw the overcommit from Wycliffe Esports 1 and the Swain support. If Jin was behind them, that may have gone a completely different way with no changes in information. Making sure that your side lanes are where they need to be to commit to the mid game and make sure a small unit fights go your way when you're playing this style is really important.
Well, Sutty, thank you very much for joining us tonight as our analyst. It's been a pleasure to have you on with us. And following on from what Temporal was saying about teammates being on the same page, we've got our very own teammate, Mr. Citrus Empire, who is on the same page and ready for an interview with some of the players.
Hi guys, so my brain might not be so Galaxy after the no Karthus pick, but what did turn out to be pretty Galaxy brained was that Gangplank and just the way he took over top lane. Now, I'm joined right now by AGSB's jungler of all people, the Elfe, it's better known as Will, who came in for a really dominant performance on Echo. Will, thanks for joining, and obviously a huge congratulations on the win.
Thanks.
No worries. So, with so much pressure from Wycliffe's team to respond to what the Gangplank was doing, Did you make any changes to your jungle strategies this game?
I think it was about the same. I had a lot of faith in my top laner to sort of not die too much, even though they put a lot of focus on the top laner. So we could just play sort of the same about game.
Okay, so regardless of what was happening, you were just gonna go for the same strat that you'd maybe practiced previously?
Yeah, I think our gameplay is mainly focused about getting objectives, and we could do that this game.
Yeah, for sure. That definitely showed with the priority that you had on Drakes. I mean, that steal was just beautiful. If my junglers in solo queue were like that, maybe my win rate would be better, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, the Gangplank was the MVP for this game from what the casters said. But for you, was there anyone else that you'd like to highlight on the team?
I think I've put in a decent performance as well,
Okay.
but I think overall it was a really good team performance from everyone, really.
Yeah, it was definitely some solid team fighting. You had better scaling comp. Is there anything that you think you might have been able to do better?
I think I ran it down one or twice when I was going for the tower, and we did lose that Drake, which is something to look at as well.
Yeah, definitely something to check out in the VODs for sure. Obviously, again, huge congratulations. It's 2 wins in 2 games for AGSB over 2 teams. That's pretty strong. Quick question though, do you guys scrim internally? Is that where the strength comes from?
Yeah, I think at the start of the season we had a very bad losing streak. We made some roster changes and we've been scrimming a lot with the new team, and I think it showed today with our performance.
Definitely seems to be paying the dividends on all of that practice, Will. Again, congratulations and thank you for taking the time for a quick chat.
Okay, no problem.
No worries. So, well, we have winners. We also unfortunately have losers. I'll be joined in a moment by Wycliffe's mid laner, Josiah, better known as Mr. D, when he's not, of course, on Wycliffe Esports 1. Josiah, hi. Hello. Think we might have microphone issues there.
No, we're here.
Oh yeah, we're there.
Hello.
We'll put that one down to Discord going full 200 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, commiserations, Josiah. Really well played on that Katarina though. The on-hit build, pretty scary to come up against. What were your plans to deal with the Galio?
Well, with Galio, like because I'm going for like a late game build, and I don't really want to like get kills in lane. So my plan was just to farm and then like put pressure like in mid lane so he doesn't roam, and yeah, but like the jungler just outscales us.
Yeah, that is the problem. You were going for scaling, but they were kind of scaling a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Obviously, with an on-hit cat, there's certain builds that you go for. Obviously, the Blade of Ruin King is a fantastic choice, but what did catch our casters out a little bit was the inclusion of a Rift Maker. Now, what's the thoughts behind that for you?
Yeah, with that, because I was thinking about so with Kane he got a bit of sustain, and then like I thought we can like drag out the team fight longer, and then so Rift Maker would be a good choice there, and yeah, it helped a little bit, but not a lot because all the CCs.
Yeah, that is something to look into. It's a shame there's no QSS for AP builds.
Yeah.
I guess it's one of those. One day we'll get it. Hopefully, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? So obviously, other than the issues with scaling, what do you think you guys could have done better? I mean, the jungler was just saying how they had a really strong focus on objectives.
Yeah, definitely the objectives. So like we should have more wards on both sides of the jungle, and then like we should coordinate the players better. So like usually when like dragons up, the jungler is like pretty far away from the dragon, and yeah, we have to work on that.
Yeah, so rotations, visions,
Yeah,
coordination. Yeah, I feel you. It's a
yeah,
definite struggle for me in probably all of my games, if you ask anyone who plays with me. Obviously, it does suck to take the loss, but you guys did put up one hell of a fight. So, commiserations again. Once more, thank you for
Yeah,
playing
thank
today
you.
and taking the time to chat.
yeah. All right. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day. Thank you.
No worries. And obviously, leading on from that, oh, there we go. Discord doing its thing again. Now that's our 2 games today, guys. But before we go, let's just bring those casters right back and have a little chat, a little discussion, see what we can pick out. Hi, guys. Welcome back. So, 2 games, 2 wins for the same school. That's pretty impressive, right?
Clearly, there's somewhere to go if you want to get into esports in the future, perhaps.
Oh yeah. Oh, Milky, it appears
It's all
to be
right, he's
having a
back.
Discord
Sorry.
moment.
I knew
Discord
I
is
was going to
going
forget
full
to do that at
200.
some point. I knew it was going to happen.
Full
Um,
200 years on Discord.
Definitely a Discord issue, not my fault.
Yep.
Definitely not your finger.
Yep.
I was just going to
Always
say,
blame the teammate.
I think AGSB, they went out and schooled everyone today.
I think that's a very, very appropriate pun. I
Can we
think
just mute Milky again after that?
get him out of here.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think
You like it.
I love it. They showed up today. They did really well. They led commandingly in both games. Only momentary falters. You've got the rest of the season to wiggle those ones out. It is the hard part to adapt after a strong start rather than start strongly on its own. So fantastic work from both teams. Commiserations to both opponents. You've appeared to play top of the table teams. Fighting to come second behind these sorts of people in this level of play is definitely not something to be too worried about at this stage.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And again, even though they lost, both teams did put up some brilliant fights. There was plays coming in from both sides just to try and snatch that victory away, but obviously unable to do it. So
Unable to manage today. There were little moments though where like 1 or 2 things going differently. Those errors could have definitely come to the fore.
for sure, for sure. So, casters, any final thoughts before I give some parting words?
Excited to see the next broadcast in 3 weeks' time. I believe it's still 3 weeks. I think we're taking a break for Christmas. But yeah, the level of play was fantastic today. I enjoyed seeing Timo in a competitive game of League of Legends in Season 11. That was a great time. Excited to see more from these teams.
Sweet. Milky?
Yeah, really enjoyed both games. Want to give a shout out to Nitro Dude for hard debating Temporal by buying an Imperial mandate only to sell it 3 seconds later and buy a Moonstone Renewer. So good job.
Always good to see you. Good debate.
True. Got me.
Always
Completely got me.
good.
I'm sorry, Temporal. I'm throwing you under the bus harder than...
It's fine. I'm enjoying those front wheels. We're nearly out the back wheels. And there we go. I'm over it.
or it's over you.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for your casting today, guys. Absolutely brought the hype, as you do every time you're on. And yeah.
It's been a pleasure. We'll see you next time.
Yes, we will. Okay, guys. So, obviously, those were some pretty close games at times. Other times, it kind of became a bit of a steamroll. Really great to see, though, some fantastic League of Legends. Now, if you did miss any of the games, or you just want to go back and watch those spicy plays once again, you'll be able to find everything on the VOD when that goes live, and that'll be on our YouTube channel. Obviously, don't forget to check on social media as well. If you just search for British Esports, you'll find us straight away. And remember, as well, if you want to be part of this, if you want to see yourself on these streams next season, registrations are open. You just need to go to britishesportschamps.org and you'll have all of the information there, and from how to sign up, what the scheduling is, and contact details for any questions that you might have. So it's basically everything you need to get your teams registered. We will be back next on Monday the 7th, and that's an interview with Vulpine Esports. It's taking place at 4 p.m. UK time. Definitely don't give that one a miss. It's going to be great. But until then, I've been Citrus Empire. You guys have been great, and enjoy the rest of your day.